Last we left off, a group of adventurers, having spent a week inside the Tide Peak Tower, gave an unceremonious farewell to Ceradyn as Darren left the tower with him, making the journey to Sincorn by teleportation. Urak had also excused himself from the party, but not without leaving behind a gift for everyone. Each was given a substantial sum of gold, a collection of potions, and of course, after a certain condition was met, a cabbage. After being informed by Darren that the ejection from the tower that would occur when the spell sustaining the space they were residing in ended would be potentially dangerous, all were ushered into the courtyard of the Tide Peak. It did not take long outside for the expected arrival of two that had long been separated. The reunion of Chief and Ceradyn to the Forge Force, riding atop the newly crafted Warthog cart, old by brute and grunt, was a moment of glee and intrigue for all. Stories were shared of the journeys that were taken separately, as well as showing of the amenities of the Warthog. This was interrupted after a short time by a man who ran up to the back of the cart and exclaimed, "Shoot me in the face! Please, kill me!" Dumbfounded and a bit stunned, as were a pair of guards that were within earshot, Sashem decided to treat the man's body as a sheath for his dagger. The halfwing, after a bit of prodding, refused to divulge any information around his situation and was escorted to the nearest guard post by the passing sentinels. After following the escort, the party found that there was no one where they arrived, as if they had disappeared. But in short order there were screams heard in the distance, and denizens of Niquadranus were seen running away from a place not far from the guard post. Ceradyn, rushing ahead, plummeted to the ground upon entering a field which he quickly realized had no air, but had spent long enough inside to see that there were citizens, lying motionless, suffocating. Only a moment later, and after a bit of deliberation, Chief charged into the field to collect as many people as he could to save them. Collecting 15 in total, most of them were revived. Turning back to go in again, Chief quickly came face to face with a terrifying and evil creature, which he recognized as a beholder. His silent battle ensued between the two, until a flash of arcane energy alerted the rest that there was a battle underway, and into the vacuum field they all rushed. This conflict waged for a time and looked to be in the favor of the Forge Force, newly reunited, but tragedy struck when Zenesha was charmed. Her mind not her own, Zenesha struck a truly devastating blow to Arni, leaving him to be slain by the Beholder. And shortly thereafter, a ray of disintegration utterly erased Ceradyn, leaving behind not even a feather to be buried. Things turning even further to the worst, a second Beholder peered from a corner and crippled Sashem. As the first Beholder finally fell, Zenesha, newly freed from the charm spell, turned to the group with anguish in her face and said, "I am so sorry." But she focused her pain into a rush towards the second Beholder. As her fury focused and she charged, a strange force overtook the battlefield, and time began to turn in reverse. In what seemed like no time at all, everyone found themselves back inside and around the new cart, with a small halfwing man running up and exclaiming,
"Shoot me in the face! Kill me! Please, kill me!"
Chief's gonna react the same way and just the gun popping out of his arm right in the halfling's face.
Which an important point of order. I need everyone to make either an intelligence, a charisma, or a wisdom saving throw. Your choice.
It's charisma or
Intelligence
wisdom?
for me.
Or wisdom.
Load faster, Beyond. Load faster.
That's 4 of us. Missing 1. Who are we missing?
Me. It's still loading.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right, intelligence, charisma, or wisdom?
Your choice.
I deserve what I got after last session and all the bogus rolls.
30-20. Yes.
You all recall all of the events that just transpired.
I don't like that.
And the halfling sitting there, his hands on the cart. Please, kill me.
Guys, don't you feel like this is something deja vu? I'm feeling weird here.
I'm gonna grab him and just shove him into a seat and
Oh gosh. Don't hit him.
how many are there?
What?
Did you
are you
see
talking about?
Did you see beholders?
Beholders? Are you crazy? Just kill me, please. Please. Come on.
Why do you
Then
want to
someone
die?
take you to a guard post.
No. I don't think that's a good idea, guys.
Not this time.
Don't hurt him. I'm gonna get up on top of the... What?
I'm gonna grab him and I'm gonna say, "What do you mean, not this time?"
It doesn't matter. You
It
wouldn't believe me
matters.
anyway.
I'm gonna
We're
reach
gonna
out,
kill
grab
you,
Sashem by the
stop.
neck collar, and pick him up and put him to the other side of the cart.
Simple enough to do. Well, actually, no, he's in full plate, so you need to make a strength check for that. Opposed if Sashem, you want to resist it.
I want to resist.
15.
15, okay.
21.
Sashem is solid in position. He does not want to move.
No.
We
I got
learned your-
turned to stone. I'm not going through that again.
He seems to be, much like the first time, kind of shutting down.
While everybody's still in the cart, I'm gonna go to the reins, start driving the direction of the edge of the place.
Edge of...
Where the no air, no atmosphere circle.
Oh, the
Okay.
courtyard.
Yeah, you start moving that way. As you start moving that way, because you're facing the other way, you kind of have to turn around. The 2 sentinels, the 2 guards that were there, overheard this man apparently and are approaching, and they step out in front of Brute and Grunt. They go, hold.
I would like to swoop out in front, raising my feathers to show my belt. What can I do for you?
Okay. We heard what that man just said, and for obvious reasons, we're a bit concerned as to what's transpiring.
Yes, and this may be a confidential matter of which I am attending. You can stand down.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Oh, that was such a bad roll. A 10.
And they go, while I have the utmost respect for the Cobalt Reserve, our authority still stands superior here. Please, just give us a moment.
Fair enough.
One of the guards turns and pulls out what looks to be a sending stone and uses it. None of you can quite hear what's being said. And the other one's just holding guard here.
I'm not.
There. Go ahead.
Does the stone look similar to the one that we found previously in the drawer? Or are all the sending stones look the same?
I mean,
know.
to a degree, sending stones are all kind of the same. There's just a specific type of rock that is given that enchantment and is carved into, but it's also not like super critical. You could make a perception check to see if it perfectly matches, but understand
Sure.
the DC for that is going to be pretty high.
Well, I'm sitting in the cockpit just staring at him, so might as well.
Yeah. And he's only like 3/4 turned away from you, so you actually have a
do
pretty good
not
view.
recognize it.
Yeah, at this distance, and you didn't like inspect it for details and stuff like that. It's the thought definitely crosses your mind, but it's hard to say. He turns back. He says, "The colonel will be here in short order, sir." Just nods. If you're comfortable with continuing to wait, otherwise you could remand that man to our custody to see to his healing. And at this point, Sashem, he's just kind of slump in the chair that Chief threw him into. Just
I got him by the collar. That's also why I didn't
but
move.
he's still.
Yeah.
He's just slumped. He's just given up again.
Might
right.
we follow you to the guard post and just meet your colonel there?
They kind of look to each other for a minute. Make another persuasion check. Sashem, is there anything you'd be doing this time?
Yeah, I'd be asking him, or I would just be telling him, if you don't answer my questions, I'm going to stab you in the freaking hand again.
At that, he looks up to you. He does look up to you. And this conversation is happening loud enough that pretty much everybody can hear what's going on.
Okay.
He looks up and he says, "Again? Again?"
Yeah.
Again.
Yes, that's
Again.
what I said.
But I don't remember you. But you remember me?
Yes, unfortunately, I used you as a pincushion.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
And
man.
as he scrapes his fingers down his face, he's peeling skin and blood starts pouring down his face. And
Oh, I'm gonna drop him.
Wrap
I'm gonna
him
drop
up.
him.
Whoa, oh boy.
Am I free? Am I free? I'm free. I'm free.
How many times?
Oh.
That's bad news for us.
Centuries.
Centuries.
Oh. I'm free.
I'm gonna kind of make it so the sentinels can't enter the cart while they're talking.
Yeah, they can hear kind of what's going on, but it's like it's very muffled. They're mostly just like the cackling, and they're kind of just looking at each other like, But you sitting in front, there is an opening that would give view from the front into the back, but it's, a thick doorway that you've erected here. Closing it would be easy enough. They don't seem to be reacting in a way like they're going to jump in and intervene, even at the sight of you closing the door. The back doors are still open. And now, in stark contrast to the catatonic depression that this man exhibited before, there seems to be a blissful euphoria. And he's just now again slumped back into the seat like there is no energy left in any of his muscles. Just completely non-cognizant of the fresh gouges down his face. Zenesha, this puts your scarring even to comparison. Who's doing what?
I'm just gonna talk to him more. All right, numbnuts. You said that you had been in this for a while. Does that mean if you're freed, that means if I kill you, you die, right? And you ain't coming back.
Sashem, please stop threatening people. That's
Oh,
Zenesha's
people.
job.
I turned to stone. I don't want to go back.
Well, I was incinerated by a freaking laser beam. Something is going on.
And the only one that knows is this thing.
He
And you're
obviously
all
doesn't
crazy.
know what's going on, otherwise he wouldn't have been trapped in it for centuries, and he's probably still trapped just now with us as well.
I spent so long. I've searched every corner of this city. 32 minutes and 18 seconds. 32 minutes and 18 seconds. That's how long you have. You have 32 minutes and 18 seconds before it resets again. But the fact that you remember the last time and I don't. I'm free. I'm free. Ah. 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 And he passes out.
I'm still in the front on the other side of the door, so I can't
I'm
jump
gonna-
out.
I'm gonna throw up my hands and jump off the back and just hang out outside at the back.
Okay.
I want to turn back towards these sentinels, and there seems to be some magic afoot that is beyond my abilities. Is there any users in the city that could help?
Well, it would be best to wait for the colonel. He should be but another minute or so. He was already in the area.
Where exactly was he in the area?
At a guard post, a short ways away.
Is that the same? This is me. Was that the same guard post that we went to?
He points in generally that direction.
And about
Doesn't
how long of a walk would it have been if Chief would remember the last time?
It took you about a minute on the cart. It wasn't very far at all. Because last time they took him just kind of around the corner and Ceradyn went to go catch up and they were already inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's effectively like on the other side of the Tide Peak Tower.
So would the time that has passed from when they got word he was coming to me asking that question, would that be too much time for him to be here? Like, should he have been here by now?
Make an intelligence check.
Dirty 20?
I mean, you should be able to see him walking up by now. Unless he's held up by something.
Do I see Sashem out of the cart?
I mean, that depends, Sashem, if you're like walking off to the side or if you're kind of just hanging out in the back.
I'm leaning against the cart in the back.
Then no, you wouldn't see Sashem. You probably would have heard a footfall behind the cart.
Leaning to Ceradyn, trying to talk quietly to him. Maybe he wasn't the issue at all.
I think not. I'm going to turn back to the sentinels. You have to stay here till he arrives, correct?
That is the best advisement that I can provide.
All right, Chief. I'm going to go check on the colonel. I'll be right back. Stay. I'm going to fly to go around the corner.
You fly up and they go, no, hey, wait! But obviously, it doesn't do anything. You hear a bird.
Yep.
You just fly away. Yeah, you fly up into the air and just like beelining for the guard post.
Yeah, just gonna go around the corner and see if I see him or any of the other guards or anything.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay.
While he's making that check, I'm going to crack the door open. Like, hey, can one of you tie this little man up so he doesn't keep hurting himself?
13.
Seems like he's passed out.
And he is out cold right now. The Sentinels see and they're like, oh gods, he just did that to himself? Yes, do any of you have the ability to heal? as they work to help to extract him from the cart. And any of you? And Arni goes, I can do it. He's going to walk up and do just a first level cure wounds. And the wounds do close. There's likely still going to be scarring. It was pretty savage what he did to himself, but they kind of put him into shackles and almost like mitts over his hands. Ceradyn, you've made it all the way to above the guard post and haven't seen anyone walking away from it.
Is there anyone there?
Gonna go look inside?
Yeah.
Okay. Going down inside, you see the door is open. And no one's inside.
This is what I was afraid of.
The same inkwell tipped over, spilling on the parchment. I think, no, your persistent perception from that, especially considering you were here before. Sending stone is actually in the ink. Like it got dropped into it. The sending stone that Sashem normally had picked up last time.
Interesting. I'm gonna leave it and go back.
Okay. Takes you but a moment to get back. At the point that you get back, you do see that the man, he is semi-conscious now. He's wobbling and shackled. And they're kind of helping to hold him up. You do return, and you all see Ceradyn return.
There is no one at the guard post once again.
And they turn to you as you kind of swoop in and land either on Chief's head or shoulder, right? I imagine.
Yeah, I'll land.
Okay.
Actually, I'll land on top of the cart above them.
Gotcha. And they say, "No one's there? What do you mean?"
Everybody is missing. And I could show you, but I would have to stay with you the entire time.
By all means, let us be off. And they turn with him and begin walking him to the guard post. Are you all going to follow?
Yeah, I'll be following right with the
I
cart.
think because I mean, if you're just gonna turn the cart around, I guess.
The cart's already facing that direction.
Yeah, he had turned, then got stopped.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then yeah, that's fine. I just don't want to
Okay.
lose sight of them at all and keep them with us.
Ceradyn, at this moment, you just feel you incur a point of exhaustion.
Whoa!
There's just this sensation of almost like being in two places at the same time.
Ooh. See what I did there?
Wow. Wow.
That was
You
completely
have
unintentional.
Listen to me. You have disadvantage on your next roll. I don't
No,
care
that
what
was
it is. I
that
don't
was
care if it's a death save.
unintentional. Dang it.
Disadvantage on the next roll. It's because it was unintentional.
If it's intentional, probably would have been better than that.
What's the matter, my little friend?
I feel as though I'm in two places at once.
Stereotypes are what's the matter.
It's tiring.
Hmm.
Something is very wrong.
Well, let me know if it keeps persisting. As we're going around the corner, I want to see if there's any other like buildings that we can have the sentinels or like that are next to it that we can enter as well. just in case.
Okay. Sorry, explain what your intent is with that.
well,
I'm
if-
confused. Like-
Chief is wondering if the building is the starter of this thing. So he's wanting
Okay.
to see if he could place the guards and the halfling in a different building when we get there
Okay.
without them staying in there too long. Just enough for them to see and then get
Okay.
out.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, so the guard post itself, it's kind of like almost like this cross-shaped building that has kind of a fenced gate around it. There's probably 30 feet of courtyard in every direction around it, relatively isolated. So by the time you're kind of going into the guard post, there's not really like a quick thing in any direction. There are other buildings, but it looks like some kind of office in that direction, maybe some home, like a residential section off to the other side. No, that the residential section is off towards the coast, towards the beach, and the offices are back inland. But I mean, there are other buildings. It's about this time that you all do arrive at the guard post. And at this point, the man is the halfling, which the halfling being held up by the two larger sentinels. It's actually hard to tell kind of what race they are. The sentinels in the city, they wear kind of like this golden mask that covers their face. They have gaudy golden helmets and armor, long capes that nearly drag on the ground. It's excessively extravagant and probably far too expensive. But he is starting to and he's just laughing.
I want to lean over to Arni and go, hey, look at their capes.
As you nudge him, he just kind of goes, oh, that was a strange sensation. Oh, felt like my heart stopped for a second there.
You okay?
Arni also incurs a point of exhaustion.
I'm gonna dismount from the cart and say, I'll hold on to the little guy while Ceradyn shows you. And I'll just kind of hold the shackle.
Make a persuasion check. This is going to be a pretty high DC because you got to think about their perspective on this.
17.
One of them starts to kind of like push the shackles towards you, and then the one that seemed to be superior to him takes them and says, I'll hold him. Ceradyn, are you going to be leading the other one inside?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
would like to follow.
Okay.
I'd like to stay outside and like watch down the street for any commotion.
Okay. Just go ahead and roll a perception check. Sashem and Ceradyn walking with this guard, entering the guard post. Stepping inside, it's as you just saw it, Ceradyn. There is no sign of any struggle or anything like that. Just inkwell tipped, but this time sending stone dropped onto it.
Now you see we have a serious situation on our hands. Correct?
Why? What happened to the colonel?
Part of the problem, I'm sure.
And Sashem and Ceradyn, what happens makes you blink and you're highly confused for a moment. He's gone.
Wait a minute. Like he just ceased to
No.
exist in front of us?
Like one frame he's there and the next it's gone. And both of you were looking right at him.
Sashem? Perhaps we should
Yeah.
see if the other one's still here.
And you just hear from the outside, what in the burning hells just happened to him?
he disappeared. As did they all.
What? There were two
Sashem is-
prisoners in there. Are the prisoners in the cell?
There is no one in there.
He starts to step forward and then stops. Come out of there.
Okay.
Sashem wants to grab a sending stone before he leaves.
I want to use one of my divine senses.
Okay, what's the range on that?
60 feet.
60 feet. Okay. You do send up divine sense. There is a very, very faint, fiendish sense from Zenesha. But it's not... You can tell, obviously Zenesha is not a fiend. You've seen her bleed, you've seen her face. But there's an influence there that's strong.
I'm
But it's
gonna
also somewhat divine. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna kind of dismiss that for now because I've known Zenesha. So
There's no other signatures of any kind around you. How long does it last, or is it a single pulse?
I think it's just an action. Let me read through it real quick.
'Cause I know it's an action to cast, but I don't know if it has a duration.
I would know the type Celestial Fiend or Undead if it was, which you
Yeah,
told
if it doesn't
me.
immediately say a duration, then it's just a pulse.
Any being whose presence, but not its actual identity.
Sonic ping. Ping.
Also, it does allow me to detect an object that has been consecrated or desecrated, as with the Hollow spell.
Oh,
But it doesn't tell me any. I think it's just like a radar ping.
also from Zenesha. There is a desecrated object in her possession. Freaking Zenesha.
I love that
touch
DM.
touch all of the black cursed orbs
Oh.
and pick up all of the cursed things.
The book I'm carrying.
Oh, that's right too. That's a good point.
There's a
Basil.
couple of things that Chief has picked up too.
Yeah.
Would probably be there
Yeah.
as well.
You also. Well, here's the thing. So the object that Zenesha carries, it is an unbelievably potent desecrated object, but it's only a portion of it. The object that Basil holds is quite potent, not like Zenesha's. But yeah, that's all you sense. All of the danger is within your own party.
Sounds
There's
about right.
There's nothing
I'm
that
just
he'll get
gonna-
from like the skull necklaces, right?
No, they're not inherently magical themselves.
Okay.
That
then-
you already
Uh,
know.
I'm just gonna kind of glance between them, like, I think we all need to have a talk if we get out of this. And I'll
Arnie just says, if.
and I'll join Basil, just kind of keeping watch in the direction of the square.
The reason it took this long, Basil, is you've been kind of splitting your attention between the direction where things happened before and what just happened here. And you would have actually have been looking at the moment that the other guard just disappeared. No puff of smoke, no arcane trail, nothing, just gone. There is something going on down the road, and actually all of you can start to hear what sounds like screams.
I'm just gonna jump in the cart and say, "Who's coming?" And as soon as
I think we
everybody
should
that
go.
wants to come.
I jump.
Okay.
I want to turn to Zern because I want. You said 32 minutes and
And 18 seconds.
18
32 minutes and
seconds.
18 seconds. 32 minutes and 18 seconds. A little bit longer than that, but not even the next second. I've read every
And
book in
that's
the
how
city.
long this lasts before it
And then
flips.
you go again. You go again, and then again, and again, and again. But I won't remember the next one, but you will. Um,
Ceradyn, you coming?
In a moment.
I'm gonna start heading that way to where I know the edge of that circle is.
okay.
Knowing Ceradyn can easily catch up.
Yeah, because you can't move at like full traveling speed in the middle of a city. So
Yeah.
It doesn't take long to notice. Denizens aren't running away. They're running towards the sound. And also, that's not screaming. Well, they're screaming, but it's cheering. And in the distance, you start to hear the sound of music. Keep moving.
While they're off, I just want to start asking Zern questions. Like,
Zern is staying behind with that guard.
yeah, and
Unless
I said
you're-
I was too.
Oh, okay, so you're still back there. Okay. go
Yeah,
ahead.
I said I would catch up. So,
And this music is echoing out to the point that even you can hear it, Ceradyn.
I'm still
interesting.
gonna go to the edge where that
Okay.
radius was.
Hearing that, my first question for him is going to be, was it different every time?
Oh, every time. Never the same, never the same. Similar sometimes, but never the same.
Never the same. So not always bad.
Oh no, this one sounds quite fun. But don't let that deceive you. It will go again. And
What?
again. And again.
Is there information you have regarding
I have.
anything?
I have so much information. I've read every book in the city, every flyer, every pamphlet. I've run to the edge of the city. I've stolen a horse and ridden away. I jumped onto a skyship and drove myself into the ground. But every time, I go right back. I go right back. That corner of the Tide Peak Tower. And I run to you. And I ask you all to kill me. But now, it's your problem.
Did we ever kill you?
Oh, yes,
Of
quite
course.
often. That half-orc does not show much restraint.
Yes, Zenesha can be that way.
And that human boy, he has some darkness in him.
He's been with her for a while now, so that's not surprising either.
Also, that's fault. You don't have much time. Sounds like the first song just ended, and there's only 16 minutes and 12 seconds left.
Well, in that case,
Hurry.
since you're in the part of our loop, I'll be able to ask you more questions every single time.
Oh, interesting. And I won't remember you. Oh, because I've remembered every single one.
Yes, but now I know how to engage you.
Oh, yeah. See you next time.
And I fly off to catch up with people.
A new song begins to ring out. At this point, Chief, you'd be at the point where the circle began. There's no shimmer.
Right. I'm gonna tell everybody just in case. Wait here.
You see other people walking. Some kind of prancing forward through the space, heading towards the music.
I'm gonna hop out and stop someone.
I
Okay.
want to go see if I can find that spell circle while he's talking to them.
Okay, so you go ahead and continue in. Basil, you grab like the closest woman, child, man. Like, who would you grab?
Just the closest, like, adult.
Okay. You grab this just half-elf woman. Looks to be like she's just getting off a shift as a barmaid, the overnight shift. Bags under the eyes a little bit. She says, "Oh, can I help you, sir, Dragonborn?"
Yeah, I was just wondering, who's playing right now?
I don't know, but it sounds great. We're going to find out ourselves. And she steps away.
That's weird.
Chief, and all of those that have stayed on the cart, Ceradyn, you'd be catching up in like 30 seconds. It's not a, it's like it was like 300 feet away from the guard post. As you come around the corner where there once was the Beholder, and all of those memories come rushing back more vividly. A stage, and atop it is a man, a rather small, gnomish individual, but with a flamboyant purple hat with a long feather, gaudy robe that hangs down off of the back of this ethereal piano, playing. And a good number of people are just like swaying to the music. A couple of groups are kind of dancing and however they please. Basil, you'd be able to catch up to the cart because at this point the crowd is built to the point that the cart can't really continue without causing a scene. But you're within like 80 feet.
Yeah, I left the cart back at the edge of the circle anyway. So.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'm assuming everybody kind of.
As I get closer to the stage and where I am trying to remember the spell circle was, I want to cast Detect Magic.
You cast Detect Magic, and all around you, the entire stage is a conjured magic. The piano. The way that the sound is reverberating through the air, it is amplified by magic. And there's this wafting, ethereal mist, you would say. It looks like it's just spreading through the city.
Okay, and that lasts for 10 minutes. But I would like to also put on those glasses.
Also putting on the glasses, just make a perception check. You are all now, basically intermingled with the crowd at this point.
22.
22. There's nothing of note. Nothing else ethereal than the piano, which there's a bit of an odd, the glasses give you kind of a clarity into the shape of ethereal things. And then at the same time you have Detect Magic active, which gives it an aura, so it's like this it's just like as it blows it out, when a camera is looking at something too bright.
It's like an infrared when a flashlight hits it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like but nothing else seems to be going on. The crowd, as the music stops, just clapping and cheering, and he stands and bows. He waves his hand, and the piano disappears in a puff of smoke. Yeah, exactly. And he says, "Now, I see some among you. I will improvise a song for you." And he points at you, Sashem. Tell me,
Sashem,
what's your name, darling?
Shessu.
Shessu. Oh. Hmm. Tell me this. What do you want to hear a song about?
I want to hear a song about regression of time.
Regression of time. Now that's weird, but I tell you what, I have no problem with that. What style would you like this in? I could sing a somber ballad or a thrashing, crashing song.
I would like it to be a jolly one.
Give me a moment. You've given me a challenging task. If there's any conversations or anything any of you would like to?
No,
DM has to
rolling his
sidebar
eyes.
himself to say, okay, let's see.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you see him, he whips out a quill and paper and, oh, yes, no, not that. And he's working on it.
Catching up to
Chief
the
would like-
group.
Go ahead.
You're good.
I was just going to say, if I am able to locate the general area of where that spell circle was, I like to lean again, like go up against a building and just kind of watch that area as everything else goes.
I mean, going over there with the glasses on and detect magic, there's no circle. The circle where it was is kind of like where the edge of the stage is, but there's nothing there.
I'm just going to lean, like stand next to a building and just look off into the crowd.
Yeah, I'd also
Try
like
to pay
look into
attention to things.
the
Catching
crowd
up
and
to the
see if
group,
anyone
I
stands
just want to let them know.
Sorry, what was that, Basil?
out. I wanted to look into the crowd as well and see if anyone stands out. Like that's not super
Okay,
paying attention.
let's just have the both of you run perception checks. And go ahead, Ceradyn.
Okay. Coming back up to the group, just be like, so, Zern has informed me that it was different every single loop. So, good news is this one seems better than the last. Don't know how to get out of it.
Wait a second. He was in it by himself, right? But at least we are all in it together, so that's kind of nice.
Well,
If it went on for centuries too.
well, at least we'll be able to ask him more information on it if we don't figure it out this time, because we have roughly 12 minutes left.
Oh yeah. Can't
He
I
goes,
just kill him in one of the rounds?
I've got it. Now.
He's already died in several of them by, well, Zenesha's hands.
Oh, that's not fair. What about mine?
Yours as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have for you the regression of time. As he sways back and forth, the music is propagating from nowhere.
Memories fade like yesterday. Childhood dreams in fields we play.
I start doing the robot.
Hourglass sands ticking slow. All scenes lost in the golden glow. Young at heart, where did it go? Wishing for that timeless flow. Turning back time, let's rewind. Days of laughter, peace of mind. Moments we lost, let's find. Turning back time, let's rewind. Morning light on faces new. Innocence we once knew. Simplicity, the sky so blue. No worries. worries, just the truth we knew. Feel the clock go backwards now, erase those lines across my brow.
Now, if there's anything anybody would like to be doing during this time, song is continuing on, and there looks to be a lot of energy in the crowd.
When we heard the crashing, well, me, Zenesha, and Basil, can I recall which way I heard the glass shattering?
That glass shattering sound. Ooh. Huh. Make just an intelligence check again.
Oh, I gotta close the door.
12.
12. It's hard. It was almost like omnipresent. The
But it's
crowd
within that-
erupts into cheers
It was
again.
within that area. Okay.
Yes. The crowd erupts into cheers again, and he. Oh, whew, that was a challenging one. You have earned a place in my heart, young man. Who's next? Will it be? Any volunteers? Give me a topic and style of song again. You, Zenesha, he looks to you. What would you like a song about?
Death to the guilty.
The what?
Death to the guilty.
Oh my. A bit barbaric, but how should it sound?
Sad.
And again, he whips to the side and begins to write on a piece of paper, scratching things out furiously. No, not that. Anybody doing anything?
I'm gonna go check one of the buildings and see if it's empty. Wondering if like the whole town is out here.
Okay. Just really? I don't know why I get a notification like 10 minutes or 10 hours after I did something. Anyway, go ahead and just make an investigation check, Basil.
Are we gonna make a D&D soundtrack to the all these songs?
What was that?
So we're gonna make a D&D soundtrack with all these songs? That's pretty banging.
Ceradyn
He's-
is just
he's
contemplating
still
the
working on it.
ramifications of everything that Zern told him, so that he can try and basically inform the others when they come back together as a group, since they've all kind of fanned off in their own directions at the moment.
Just waiting on something here, and then
Who's still at the cart?
who would be?
Or not the cart, because you left the cart to go into the music area, right? Everyone did.
Yeah,
Yes.
it wasn't possible to get it through the crowd.
That's right.
I'm kind of near this stage, up against a building, just kind of scanning the crowd.
Okay.
And I believe, because he asked Sashem and Zenesha, it sounds like they were somewhat close to the stage within the crowd. And Basil is pickpocketing everybody.
I'm not unlawful.
Oh, well, you, my beautiful half-orc friend.
In the dark, it's cold and still.
Music again begins to ring out over the space.
What does the crowd seem to be like? A kind of like zombie-ish type crowd where they're like all just kind of like the Pied Piper type style?
Well, given that you have the glasses on and you also have the detect magic, looking over the crowd, there's a couple that seem to be illuminated by something. But make a perception check.
Go away, dice. That was a 5.
You know, there's so much light everywhere from the magic of the stage that it's really difficult to make sense of everything that's going on.
I'm just gonna break concentration and drop that for whatever the rest of the duration was. I'm not gonna use it.
Okay. Just waiting on something here. And then... Ceradyn, given that you're the one that's been generally keeping track of time, you know there's about 8 minutes left. Anybody doing anything specific? Just
I guess I would want to
enjoying the
be
music.
going to everyone and just informing them of what Zern told me, that you know, he's been going through it for so long that he's read every book in the city and not found a solution on it. Just reiterating the information that he was given.
Okay. It's easy enough to
Shashem's gonna be
find
like-
everybody.
Yeah, Shashem's gonna be like, yeah, and I'm gonna just try and keep listening to the song.
So basically, we need to make sure that, well, I'm sure we're going to be going through this again. But if anyone can think of questions for Zern that may be helpful, that would be a good start.
Do you think we'll be starting at the same spot, though?
He said there was 32 minutes and 16 seconds. And we'll
32
probably
minutes,
start...
18 seconds.
Was it 18?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
written
I'm
down.
already there. 32 minutes, 18 seconds, and...
Yeah.
We'll see if it starts at the same place here in the next few minutes.
As this song comes to an end, again, the crowd erupts into cheers and applause. And he says, oh, that may be enough. I would like to thank all of you for coming to my concert. He waves his hand and an arc of arcane energy follows it. Oh, this will be a good meal. And as he snaps, a wave. I need everyone other than Sashem and Zenesha to make a wisdom saving throw. Disadvantage. Ooh,
That's not good.
It's
a 0.
be...
An actual 0. Oh. I'll roll for Arni. Just roll a d20. That's also a 2. Wow. Well, interesting. All of your eyes glaze over and you are enthralled. Whatever this man wants to do, you will allow it. Time seems to skew, such that the sun looks like it shoots across the sky and the moon rises. The stage fades away to campfire. None of you are shocked by it. Instead, you're happy to see it. And then music starts again.
Giving shadows in my face, tales of wonder, tales of grace. But
What's the
behind my
landscape look
eyes
like?
so cold,
Still in the city.
plans to kill you, schemes unfold. Voice like honey spun with
Steps through the crowd,
veil of trust
pulls out a dagger,
by disguise, knitting round the
slices a throat,
fire's blade.
and draws ethereal energy from the body, pulls it into himself. Another. Oh. His
And
voice
we're-
rings out despite his mouth not moving.
And we're all happy about this.
You are. You see it as a performance.
Oh my gosh.
Walking through the crowd, citizens dropping to the ground, their essence being consumed. Starts to get faster and more violent, tearing into people faster and faster. Oh. Zenesha, he stands in front of you. You get one more chance at a wisdom saving throw. Still at disadvantage.
I am the mystery bard of night. Whispered threats, prepare to fight.
8.
Wicked heart with murder's
As you feel the knife
waiting till the night's aflame.
and the warmth flows down your chest. It's just a smile. Fade to black. He starts to hop. Moves over to you, Basil. Last chance at a wisdom saving throw. Still at disadvantage. Actually, no, yours isn't at disadvantage. Yours is normal.
Still a 0.
Same sensation. A euphoric feeling. As your essence pours into him and he goes, "Oh, that one." That is quite delicious. As your vision fades to black. Couple more citizens. Ceradyn, small, sitting on Chief's shoulder at this point, or no? He reaches for you. Wisdom saving throw. Not at disadvantage. But either of them. Nope. Wow. He grabs you. And you just see the dagger pointed at you. Chief, he cocks his head at you. Ah. Opens up your cranial cavity. Places both his hands on it. Go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
Still at disadvantage?
No, yours is normal. Sashem's and Zenesha's were at disadvantage. Wow. Oh. just in time. Sashem, let me know when you're ready. Okay. You are enthralled. You have watched this bard, referred to himself as the mystery bard of night, swing through the crowd, slicing their throats and absorbing their essence, and it has been a euphoric show to watch him feed. First, he moved through Zenesha, sliced her open, and drank her essence, and he watched her fall to the ground. I'll let you go ahead and look at the wisdom saving throws on D&D Beyond to inform how everyone else fared. But you, as one of the last in the crowd, he steps up to you, the woman to your side. She drops to the ground and the essence fills him. And as he looks to you, the last one. And as he moves, slice your throat. Make a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage. The sensation while he slices your throat is euphoria. You are happy to give your essence to feed this man. And your vision fades to black. Shoot me in the face. Kill me, please.
Let me kill him. Please let me kill him. I know, but you said Zenesha got to do it before its turn.
Wait.
It doesn't
Wait,
change
what?
anything. Zern, we're in the loops now. You're free. Update, we need information as fast as possible, and you know it.
I'm gonna tie him up before he starts scratching his face.
Well, he doesn't seem to be scratching his face this time. He seems to just almost convulsing with euphoria. But if you do want to tie him up, there's no resistance.
Is there anything that you think transferred this loop? With all of the knowledge that you have from every book in the city.
The only place I didn't have access to was the Cobalt Reserve.
Of course. That makes sense.
Through all my efforts, it was the only place I couldn't go. I broke into the mayor's mansion. I planted something there. I went into the bank's vaults and ran out with all of the gold. Oh, I've done so much. But it all amounted to nothing.
In every occurrence, did all of the guards of the city disappear and vanish?
No. What? Vanish?
Twice in a row now, we've had all the guards vanish from that guard post around the corner.
And you can see his eyes darting side to side like he is moving through an incredible amount of memory. He's vanishing. No, but it's different every time. It could be stuff like that could be happening, just not where I was at the time. It's hard to say. That's something I've come to realize, that so much happens in this city in a day. Some of the things, they happen every single time. The woman that falls off of the curb and scrapes her knee on that street corner in 6 minutes. That happens every single time, unless you go and interrupt her. These guards walking past this street. It's always happening. But other places in the city. There's different things.
Your interaction with
Other
us,
places
is
in the
it
city.
at the beginning or the end of your loop?
It was generally the beginning. I run here after a number of minutes. It was you were some of the only people in the city that I could get to quickly that would kill me, and then I could sit in oblivion for a precious few minutes.
Where did you
While
start?
While they're talking, Sashem would have just jumped out the back of the cart and headed towards the guard gate.
The
The
guard post?
Thank you, yes.
Okay. You guys see
Question real
Shessu
quick.
kind of just walking off?
It's fine.
One question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just for clarification, on every time we reset it, we just go back to our long rest status, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Any abilities or items you used would be reset.
And then
So make sure
just
you're
on the
keeping track of that.
question, on the question for Ceranos and Arni that gained the exhaustion as we were going back, get away
Is the
too, right?
exhaustion getting back?
Because
You're
it's
not feeling any different at the moment.
okay. That was just a clarification thing on my side.
Mm-hmm. Also, like, those rolls. Wow. Wow. Seriously.
Yes.
938085602. Yeah.
I want to try and remember what you said it was a gnome that was doing all the
Yeah,
singing, right?
it was like a gnome bard.
I want to try
What-
to remember his.
Where did your
imagery.
loops begin?
Okay.
Where in the city?
Where? And he kind of points off. It's not quite in the direction of the square you were just in, but it's like guard post square. It's like with the Tide Peak Tower here. It's just like further north. The fact that I'm free, in a way, is...
With his calm demeanor now, Ceradyn, do we need to have him come with us?
The information can only be helpful.
And this time we don't have the Sentinel stopping us, so we could probably just go that direction. Maybe we
Would
should
you-
go now. Go ahead.
Would, turning back to Zern, would you come to the tower post with us to watch the guards disappear?
I'll go anywhere.
Interesting. Because I know Sashem already headed that way, correct?
Yes.
Because
Which,
I
Sashem,
want...
you have only a number of seconds before you show up there.
Because if Zern, in all of his time, has not seen the disappearances like this, I want him to be there for his observations. So I want to take him with us.
Okay. And everyone would be down for just riding the cart over there?
I think I'm going to go.
Yeah, as
Captain the
as
Guard.
Okay. Basil separates and heads towards the city square.
as we're headed, Ceradyn, where is the Cobalt Reserve headquarters here?
You would know. But it's basically the opposite direction that you're going. It's a good ways away. You are in the... Oh yeah, you guys are within the open quay. But the Cobalt Reserve is basically to the far south side of the open quay.
Should be just across the quay in that direction.
We can't figure this thing out after a number of times. Maybe we should pay them a visit in one of the times.
Apparently we have nothing but time, so that sounds
Oh yes,
like a
if it's
fantastic
you
idea.
now. You have all the time there is.
And I can get into the reserve, whereas you could not. And I show him my belt.
And he breaks
Oh,
entirely.
dear Lord. Well, I mean, it makes sense. Centuries.
Sashem. It's at this point that you are up to the gate of the guard post. The door's cracked open, and you can hear some conversation inside.
We're just gonna walk in.
Okay. Okay. Basil, you have made your way to the city square, and at the moment it seems empty. There's nothing really special going on here. There's some merchants trading. There are, a number of not like performances like that last one, but instead just like some street performers busking. Looks to be very typical of a residential city square.
Stick around and just walk around the place and observe the performers and stuff.
Okay. Go ahead and just make an investigation check. And the rest of you, were you going to attempt to make your way to the Cobalt Reserve?
No, we were headed to the guard post with the cart.
With Zern.
With Zern to
He,
show him the
Oh, okay.
yeah, Chief had just asked about the reserve.
Gotcha.
At one
Gotcha.
point,
Heading there.
go
Yeah.
in there.
Gotcha. Easy enough to make your way there. Only, again, takes about a minute. When you get there, the door is open, and there's no one inside.
So Sashem got there first, heard people inside, walked inside, and also saw nothing?
You don't know that.
Oh, so there's no one there as we get in.
There's no one there.
Okay.
I'll go ahead
Didn't
and go.
Sashem go ahead of us?
That's what he said he was going to do, or that's where he said he was, or what it looked like he was doing. As I
Where's
walk in the
Sashem?
door to get a deeper look.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check. DC's not very high, as you are now familiar with the space.
Zern, in your centuries of information,
Roll a 10 for a dirty 20.
Okay. And
what do
Zern,
you make of this?
make of what? There's nothing here.
In a guard post. They're gone. This has happened every time. It's not been different.
This has not been every time that I've been here. Kind of walks around the room a little bit, just looking it up and down. The posters are the same. The cell is empty. The cell is empty. No. The cell was never empty. There were two prisoners. A human man with dark hair. And a small halfling girl. She was picked up 30 minutes ago for petty theft. And the colonel was here. He was here. Every time. He was here every time. Every time. Why is it different? Why is it new? It's because you're new. As he points to kind of the group of you. It's because you're new. Oh. Huh. Oh, I know a great number of useful things, don't I? the damage I could bring the city to its knees.
Yeah,
be
let's
going
not get carried away.
I'll see you later. And he turns to leave the doorway.
Chief, can Master
Is
stop
anybody
him?
doing anything?
Yeah, I'll motion for Master to block his path.
Oh. Do you know how much arcane study someone can do with centuries at their disposal?
I want to get a closer look at him. I know he's a halfling, but does he look anything like the gnome from the previous?
No. I mean, you don't even need a roll for that. There's no resemblance. There's no comparison.
Well, I want to go and just like thump.
Oh,
okay. He's not looking at you. He's looking at the dog. And what he said was actually to the dog. But the thump on the head. I mean, just go ahead and roll the damage for an unarmed strike.
Which for me is just 2 damage straight.
Okay, you bonk him in the head, and he goes, "Ow, ow,
Bad halfling.
ow."
Then I'll
It was
pick
never
him up
you.
and
You
go
never
throw.
killed me.
I'll kind of just pick him up and kind of look over at Ceradyn.
And he's hanging there by his shirt.
It's not beneath me.
But it always was.
the information you have garnered could help make sure no one else gets caught in your circumstance.
Really?
Of course.
That makes me curious. If I die again, I just come back in your loop, don't I?
Which means you may not come back. I don't know.
Means I'm not truly free.
It's
So what's it gonna be?
possible,
Oh,
but I don't know. Neither do you.
I'll gently just set him down on the table, hopefully by where the ink is.
okay.
Not sure what my investigation got me, but
I mean, everything's the same. Same posters, same cell. Empty. No signs of struggle. No.
Same stone
anything.
on the inkwell.
Yeah. Oh, the sending stone isn't in the inkwell this time.
That's
You don't see it.
Interesting. There was a sending stone in the ink last time.
and the first time it was in a drawer.
And Sashem grabbed it. Where
I'm gonna
is
go look in the
Sashem?
drawer.
You open the drawer, and there's the sending stone in the drawer. Unused.
This is the one the Sentinel called the Colonel with. That's what this is. Where's Sashem?
It's at this point that all of you, and you incur a point of exhaustion. There's
Is
that
this on?
desync again, and these are accumulating.
Oh. Dear.
Oh, I think I know what you meant by hoot last time.
That's not good.
Oh, actually, you
Zenesha!
know what's funny? Go ahead.
I was just gonna... Zenesha! Where's Sashem?
I don't know. We just walked off.
Hmm.
Your boyfriend.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
In all fairness, Chief would not know how close we've gotten or how close we have. You haven't been here.
In all fairness, you're not here, so you can't speak. Well, it seems the last couple of times we've been getting reset in the square. Shashem's not here. Maybe he disappeared along with the guards.
You couldn't find anything when you tried to detect magic, could you? Other than
Nothing that was
new?
helpful.
Ah.
The first time I found the stone. Second time I used it in the square and it was just too buggy.
If Sashem is outside of the loop on this time, something had to have happened. Either... No, that doesn't make sense.
It could be that he is safe from this loop, this portion.
Perhaps we can hope.
Let's go to the square, see if we can help Basil.
Everybody making their way?
Zern, come on.
Do you pick him up again, Chief, or are you gonna let him walk of his own volition?
If he doesn't actually come with us, yes, I'll pick him up, but I won't be that mean.
You see hesitation, but begrudgingly, he hops off of the counter, kind of like an empty husk, begins to walk forward.
At least
Filling
you
into the
have
cart.
help this time. And in future times.
But if I'm doomed to just repeat again and again, but not remember. And he looks up at you, Ceradyn, and there's just pure anguish in his face, like true pain that is not common. This might be worse.
And that's why we need your help. To break it. You have the most information out of all of us. Information is power, you know this. With all that you've learned.
There's not enough time this time, but when you see me again, just say Schmeckeldorf.
Schmeckeldorf.
Okay. Yes, Schmeckeldorf. And he puts his hand to his head, and a gout of flame. And his head seared from his body.
At least you could have let one of us do it. That's just wrong.
Wow.
That does not sound like you, Chief.
I've had to dispose of some people in undignified ways in the past.
I much prefer to help people if I can.
Sorry, say that again.
Zenesha. Oh, go ahead.
I said I much prefer to help people if I can.
It was in the course of helping people.
Ah.
It just had to take drastic turns.
Zenesha, given your recent stay in the Tide Peak Tower, the burning wood and the burning flesh elicit a very vivid memory. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh.
Okay. It doesn't feel good. You grit yourself, you steel yourself. You know, he's probably done this to himself a countless number of times. To have lived centuries, 32 minutes and 18 seconds at a time. And you step out of the guard post. Go to the cart. Basil. In investigating around the city square, it's, again, very nondescript. But you do notice on the horizon, towards the coast, the horizon's just a little higher. The rest of you are all heading kind of like away from the coast towards this city square where Basil is.
I'm gonna grab someone next to me. Just kind of. Do you see anything different over there?
Kind of blocks the, like the noonday sun, and what's that? It looks like the horizon. I'm not sure that. What do you see?
Seems to have gotten bigger, I guess.
The horizon doesn't get bigger. Anyway, I'm gonna tend to my stall, and he turns away from you. Not but a minute and a half later, you see the group on atop the warthog pulling forward into the city square, which gathers the attention of a good deal of the denizens here. They don't quite swarm, but you definitely have caught the eye, especially of the children.
Are there sentinels?
Not particularly any in view, but make a perception check.
A
15. Given your... Well, actually, this is what's gonna... Oh, yeah, they didn't roll well. Given your training, both in the Rogues Guild, especially though as an expositor, undercover people are difficult to spot because that's their job. This one doesn't seem to be particularly experienced with a 4 on stealth. There is an individual posted up who seems to just be overwatching the square. You're not sure to what purpose, though. Basil, this is when everybody would have congregated again.
Who's driving?
It'd be Chief.
I'm gonna turn over. Chief, do you see the horizon?
I'll stand up and look the way he's pointing.
Okay. Especially standing up on top of the cart, make a perception check with advantage.
$15.
15. I mean, it looks like a horizon line, but it's moving.
Keep watch, and I want to fly around to take post behind that person that I saw.
Okay.
Just to keep an
Is
eye
there
on
any...
them.
Oh, never mind. I got a 15.
Roll a stealth check.
Okay.
High number to beat.
24.
But you do. Okay. He rolled a 22 on his perception, so you just barely squeak by his perspective, and it's one of those moments where you're paying attention to his like field of view, and his head starts to turn at like the moment that you're coming to a position, and you're like, ooh, 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 but you are able to find a perch that avoids it, and then he turns back, and you're there. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna watch for just a minute.
Okay. Just make a perception check.
Okay.
Basil and Chief. The horizon isn't necessarily what's rising, but the ocean.
Are there any birds or animals rushing towards us? Or at
Looking
least
to the
birds?
ground. Yes, looking to the ground first. A number of mice are making a very, very uncharacteristic dash through the feet of the crowd to make their way inland. Basil, you looking up. Gulls sweeping in from coastline, making their way inland.
Would I know what's happening?
Given your time on the seas as a mercenary, this sounds like a wave.
This is not good. We need to get out of here. That way. Very fast.
How big of an area are we seeing here in terms of coming at us?
Looking left to right, you standing atop this cart, looking down this street that you've come in. As far as you can see.
That perception see anything on this character I'm
From
watching?
that individual, he looks to be fiddling with something in his pocket, but that's all you can really tell.
I would like to land on this person's shoulder, knife at the back of their neck.
Okay.
Your purpose is not untoward, is it?
Well, I need a dexterity check.
Okay.
This is like pseudo initiative. So.
Okay. Dexterity. Just straight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sure, it's not like acrobatics.
Yes, I'm sure.
Darn.
Like I said,
Okay.
it's pseudo initiative. Not.
Yeah.
It's easy enough for you to land on somebody, but it's
Yeah.
how quickly and how deftly you do it.
Yeah.
Well, his passive perception is high enough, so he's gonna. No, he does not contest that. My rolls are just as bad as your guys' last cycle. You land, and at first he's like, "Hey, what do you want?"
Your purpose is not untoward, is it?
I'm a sentinel. I'm here to catch a bandit that's been reported.
I'm with the reserve. Where? And I pull the
Somewhere
dagger away.
Somewhere around here, they were reported in the area.
Okay. You know I was just watching for people's safety.
I understand. But now I need to find different clothes.
And I'll leave him.
He kind of waddles away.
While I'm trying to discern on where to go, like Basil is saying, we need to try to move. I am going to cast the invisibility.
Okay, when you cast it, just go ahead and roll a perception check. All of you hear loud horn, and you see that everyone perks up and then looks to the coast. They all see the horizon. A moment of shock. Everyone begins to scramble northeast, inland. The elevation of the city does climb slowly until you get to the base of the mountain, about a mile away.
Flying back to the group, is Zern doing anything in response to this?
You're
Zern
dead.
blasted his own head off
Oh, that's right. He did.
in the guard post.
That's right. I forgot. I'm sorry.
You're good. Who's doing what? Because people are starting to filter past you.
I did that perception with C invisibility, got a 22.
Okay. There is a lot going on.
But if there was anybody invisible, they'd appear like a ghost.
Right.
Is what it says. So I would hopefully be able to discern that between the crowd.
Roll the d6 for me.
4.
A 4. You don't see anything.
It lasts for an hour, so...
Yeah. So
Okay.
with that up, I imagine you're all looking to pile into the cart?
I want to look around for someone who looks calm. Like, is not running inland at all. Almost,
Okay.
almost as if maybe they started it or they were expecting it. Just someone very out of the normal.
And I perch on top of the cart doing the same thing.
Yeah, so either you guys could roll independently or one of you with advantage.
On
I'll
perception?
be gearing up the cart ready to bolt.
Okay. What was that, Zenesha?
Would it be perception?
Yeah. I was debating insight, but it's like, you have to notice it first to be able to discern. Yeah, Zenesha, you don't particularly, both of you don't particularly notice anyone standing out in the crowd. There seems to be just a pretty mad dash of dozens upon dozens of people. They're now filtering in from the city that lies behind you towards the coast, rushing their way through the streets. You also get the sense that moving with the cart might actually be kind of difficult, as the streets aren't flooded with people. It's not a stampede, but there's a lot. You guys ready to move? Or what's going on? Time is ticking.
I would like to test something. Good luck. I'll see you at the beginning. And I'm going to fly directly, as fast as I can, above everything. Because I'm testing out something Zern told me.
Okay. So which direction are you going?
Up and towards the mountain to get away from this wave.
Okay. Easy enough for you to do.
I can fly, so...
Yeah. So, the rest of you, what are you doing?
Noticing that the cart's going to be hard to maneuver, I'll say, you guys can run, I'm staying with my cart. I'm going to try to park it up against one of the more sturdier looking buildings.
Okay.
I'm just going to run.
And just
easy enough to do.
Stay there.
All right. Zenesha, Basil, what are you guys doing?
I'm running.
Okay, running up the hill. Just go ahead and make an athletics check for me. Zenesha, what are you doing?
She's staying.
Staying with Chief? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have Arni active in the chat yet? If not, it's all good. Okay.
Arni is driving home and is listening in. And can reply to things.
Yep, you're good.
So go ahead and sit right here next to me, and I'll kind of just put an arm around her.
Okay. Going and parking on the far side of a sturdy-looking building.
Whose boyfriend?
With your hug, Zenesha is going to punch you in the face. That's for leaving and only leaving a note.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
As Master jumps up on our lap.
Okay. Basil, you are a great deal faster than most of the citizenry. You put on about a 6-minute mile. And this is where we're going to kind of, unless there's anything specific anybody wants to do, we're going to move forward.
The only thing I would do is right as the water would come and crash, if it gets to that point, I would just maneuver to be in between Zenesha and the water.
Okay.
And I'm just
Good enough.
making
I
sure
see.
I'm high
Chief.
enough to not be hit by anything.
I see Chief Master and Zenesha kind of like at the end of Spaceballs, where they're like,
Ceradyn, you have a spectacular view of what is a horrific event. A wave 100 feet tall over the course of the next 5 minutes climbs over the coastline, obliterating everything it touches. Except it crashes around the Tide Peak Tower as if this column of glass were around it, and then collects itself back together, crashing to the ground and rising again. Sweeps through the city, past the city square. Chief and Zenesha, I need a dexterity saving throw.
So 10
I
for
am
me.
going. Okay. I am going to use roll 20 to roll this, but understand that it's just because of the number of dice. And Zenesha, yours was a 13. So a 10, Chief, minus your exhaustion, and Zenesha, 13 minus exhaustion. Okay. Let us do the 40d6. $145 points of bludgeoning damage to the two of you. Does that put you into the negative above your health total?
It was 140 what?
146 or 145 bludgeoning damage. Oh,
I think it just barely made it.
so you did not instantly die?
I mean, still dead, but not over.
Right. So
Yeah, 'cause-
you had more than 100 and no, you had more than 75 hit points, 72 hit points.
I have set 75. So
Okay,
it
and
would
no,
have to
you
be
didn't instantly
150
die.
or more.
So
Yeah.
let's see. How much did you say again? Sorry.
145. Sorry.
That would actually put me instantly dead.
Okay.
So
Basil.
I'm at 70 total.
Okay. Yep. Basil, you turn and see all that Ceradyn can, and Ceradyn, you can't help but fly along with the wave. There's just this compulsion to move along with it. Irresistible. You've managed just barely, Basil, to climb and clamber up the face of this mountain. Just enough that it... But a jet of water coming up threatens to dislodge you from the mountain and jettison you to who knows where. I need a dexterity saving throw. What was that?
It's a 5.
Oof. Now, this is not the full force of the wave, but rather a jet that has launched you into the air. It's kind of like peeled you away from the mountain. You're falling towards the surface about 100 feet. So, for every 5 feet, a d6. So, 20d6. See how this goes. As you come crashing down to the surface of the water, that in moving this quickly is effectively a solid object. 84 points of damage. Are you unconscious?
I am unconscious.
Not dead yet. The water roils and spills and turns before it finally begins to pull back out to sea. And then shoot me in the face, please. Kill me.
I want to, like, as he's coming up, like, he's coming up to, you know, get on the cart and shoot me on the face. I want to, like, fly in front of him, grab his face, and go, Schmeckledorf!
Okay. Out of context, it's like, what the what? But you say that, and all of the worry, everything just is this thing fast? Is this thing fast?
The same
I think
time.
he means the cart.
Yes, it's fast.
All right, let's go to the Cobalt Reserve. And he jumps into the back of the cart.
Chief!
Let's go! How many times?
This
This
is four
many are
for
four.
us.
4.
I guess.
And I trusted you that soon. And for it to be Schmeckledorf. Schmeckledorf is. Wait, I'm free, but I'm not. Wait, no, it was. Explain to me what's happened. Explain to me what you know.
We're in the loop now, and you're still in it because you're a part of our loop, so you won't remember after this. And we're trying to break it to free all of us and make sure no one else can get in.
Okay.
Oh, and this is why the reserve. We can get in.
Oh, that makes sense. That's why it's Schmeckledorf. Okay. Oh, this is good news. It may take a few hundred loops, but we should be able to get to the bottom of this at the reserve. I think we can do it. All right. And at this point, Chief, I imagine you've brought things into motion. Okay.
Is Sashem here with us?
Yes, Sashem is there.
Okay.
Except I don't see. Oh, there we go. Order changed.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
you were going to touch on our exhaustion. So,
Yeah, when it's time.
While
Sheshem's
driving,
just gonna sit back because no one knows what happened to him. Only he does, so he's just gonna sit back and like.
and that's
see
what I was gonna
happens this
turn
time
while
around.
we're driving there. I want to be like, Sashem, what happened to you?
Oh, poop. I don't know. I was there and then I wasn't. It was kind of weird. Let me tell you, but popping back up here is this. I mean, I could die. I don't know how many times. I say we just keep riding this sucker out for a while.
We went to the guard post and no one was there. You went ahead of us.
know. Yeah. I walked in and then whoop, we were gone. I don't know.
Yeah,
where we
Sashem,
went.
from your perspective, you walked in and then you were back in the cart.
Yeah,
That's so weird.
weird,
That's
but I'm immortal.
That's
I
interesting.
can't die.
Well, I mean,
oh, you can die.
We're
Over
dying.
and over and over again.
Oh, I'm sure, but not forever. I mean, stab, poke, torture. You kind of get used to it after a while, don't you?
What was it? What was it?
I don't
What
think
was
you
it?
get used to this. I mean, look at him.
The
After centuries.
Ionic right. The
Jeez.
Ionic right. The Ionic right of. The Ionic right. The Ionic right.
I'm gonna hold his hands on his head.
No. The Ionic right. Command. That's it. You You, what is your name? Little owl.
Ceradyn.
Oh,
You, when we get to Cobalt Reserve, after you get us in, the High Archivist, you have to invoke the Ionic Right of Command. Yes. Ionic Right of Command, yes.
Right of command. What?
Yes. It's an emergency measure at the Cobalt Reserve. If I said Schmeckledorf, that means I told you I'd never been to the reserve, but that wasn't true. I lied. But then I trusted you with Schmeckledorf. So it must be. There must actually be a way to do this. Why?
Perhaps because things were different for us.
Different how?
We had guards ceasing to exist, just disappearing.
Yes,
we went to the tower post.
You disappeared. Yes.
I disappeared.
But that never happened for me.
Correct.
It's probably happening right now. And when he says that, those of you that died, Chief, Zenesha, or not Zenesha, you hadn't actually died. You were unconscious, but not dead. So just Chief and Sashem, actually. And you incur another point of exhaustion.
Oh, that doesn't feel pleasant. What's
Wait,
that?
that's what happened to me. What is that?
I don't know what that is.
No, you said
That
right
doesn't-
now, and that's the day. You felt like you were in two places at once and incredibly tired, correct? Turning to Sashem.
I don't know what this feels like. I just know that doesn't feel pleasant. Two places at once? Who could feel like that? That's so
Why? How
No,
did you know
it just-
was? How did you know it was right then? How much time after the start?
That is the moment that is the root of what's happening. That something is set into motion in that moment, 6 minutes and 14 seconds after the start of the loop. It's the root of what's happening, but I could never get anywhere quickly enough. I could never be somewhere quickly enough to observe whatever that was.
Interesting.
Let's see. What is different about the two of you? Pointing to Chief and Sashem. What just happened to two of you that didn't happen to the others in that moment?
Oh, last time I disappeared with the guards. I went in, walked into the guard post, and then I was gone, and now I'm back here. So yeah.
Okay, and you, Metalman.
Big
was-
tidal wave of water.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Tidal wave. Okay, that's new. Did you
Ended up-
die?
I believe so.
You said this was the fourth loop. What about the other times? Did
We're
some
in
of you
the
die?
fourth. We're in the fourth loop.
We're in the fourth. Okay. In the second loop, then, did some of you die?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Plus
Me.
And
Has
as
to die.
all of you died.
Yeah.
Second loop, and all of you felt the desync. That did not happen to me. I had been able to end myself at my own leisure, as I pleased, with no accumulating effects. So something's different, something's changed. Very well.
I'm gonna
should only
push
be
the
about-
hogs faster.
Okay. Overdriving them a little bit, and you do see the Cobalt Reserve a little bit in the distance, a little bit more nondescript than some of the other reserves in many of the other cities. Still that beautiful cerulean blue in coloration, with banners and flags being flown, but shorter, only as high as the rest of the skyline around it. Two individuals do sit in the front with their large blue sashes across their belly and waist, a large symbol of Ioun mounted upon it. As the cart comes to a stop in front of it. Says, "It's up to you, Expositor."
Wings behind my shoulders, so I am clearly humanoid as we go forward. Come, we don't have much time, and I'm gonna lead them up and reveal my belt on the way up.
And they, not even like asking anything of you, they just immediately slightly bow their heads, pull the doors open, and the Cobalt Reserve opens in front of you. Much as you've experienced before, as stacks and stacks of books line a long hallway, this reserve is considerably smaller than a number of the others you've been in personally, Ceradyn, but still an impressive collection of knowledge, nonetheless.
The first person I see, I need the High Archivist immediately.
And it sees the sash and, very well, come with me at least to the corner. And turns, and all of you are led. And Zern is just, no, it was further. And it's just muttering to himself as you all go along.
I want to keep a lookout for any symbolism from the faction I'm with, from the Watchers.
Okay. Yeah, just go ahead and roll a perception check. In short order, you are led to a doorway where the attendant stops you all and then enters himself. And emerging later is a small gnomish figure, unbelievably old. Very Yoda-like, actually. Kind of hobbling on a cane, a simple gray robe with a sash of the Cobalt Soul, or the Cobalt Reserve, across his waist and belly. I am High Archivist Umdura. What could I do for you?
Hello, High Archivist. We have quite the situation at hand. It's of the utmost importance. We seem to be caught in a time loop, and I may have to invoke the Ionic Right of Command.
Come with me. Let us go. And with a little bit more pep in his step than you would expect, he presses the door open, leaving it open, and charges through. Come, quickly. Let's go.
You said Umdora, right?
Umdora, yep.
Okay.
That is not a command I've heard in my lifetime, but I've heard of it. Please, into this chamber. He presses another door open, and inside is a semicircular vaulted room with a pedestal on it. A golden emblazoned eye is at the head of the pedestal, and you are all ushered in. Especially given Chief and would Master have followed or stayed with the cart? Master would have followed. Okay.
Master's following.
Okay. It's a little bit of a tight fit, and he's, ooh, yes, no matter. And he puts his hand on the eye and just closes his eyes for a moment. And there's this. All right, well, we should be elsewhere now. Let's see where this has taken us. And goes and kicks the door open.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Well, let's see. Looking left and right, the design of the room has completely changed. It is a totally different Cobalt Reserve. You've been teleported. Yes, this is, I believe I know. Where this is.
Do I recognize this one at all?
After I roll a d20, we'll see.
Okay.
I was going to ask the same thing of Chief.
Yes, this is Kaimar. Very well. Well, we are in the Great Library. This is rather fortuitous. You said a time loop. Hey, you! Hi, Archivist, get him now! You set a time loop. Explain. And who are all of these people?
They are trapped in it as well. Zern was trapped in it before us. There he is. He was trapped for hundreds of years, he said. Read every single book in the city. Yes, I know. We really need to take care of this.
Oh, okay. Well, once we know where the High Archivist of this Kaimal Reserve is, then we can get to researching. What is the... do your best to explain the mechanisms of this. What has actually been happening to you?
There's
And
32
Zern is
minutes.
just muttering to himself.
There's 32 minutes and
What if we
18
figure
seconds.
Every 32 minutes.
Go ahead, Arni.
The best we can tell is about every 32 minutes and some odd seconds.
18. And
All right.
6 minutes
That's
and
not long
14
to it.
seconds into it is when the mechanism is activated. Correct, Zern?
Yes, that's what I've been able to discern. There is a moment after the loop starts that initiates the transition again.
There is the case of all the guards disappearing too.
Yeah, and
Yes.
don't forget that it's different every time.
Yes.
Well.
There are extraneous events in the world, around Nicodranus at least, maybe elsewhere in the world, that's impossible for me to know, that are quite odd at times, or quite fantastic in others. Sometimes the city is utterly destroyed, sometimes everyone turns into a rabbit, and sometimes the city itself just disappears. It's quite strange.
A rabbit.
Zern,
Interesting.
Zern, after all this is over, can I use you to write a book?
What?
It's just gonna be my 100 years in Nicodranus. You know, it's gonna be cool.
He reaches forward and he slaps you across the face and says, "We don't have time for this. 32 minutes and 18 seconds. There's 12 minutes and 37 seconds left." He goes and he grabs the High Archivist. He says, "What could we tell you to get us here immediately, every time?" Say that it's for Malia. And there's a sadness in that. No one else would know. Give as brief an explanation you can. Invoke the Ionic Rite. And say that it's for Malia. We will make haste, if it is necessary to do this multiple times. Approaching around a corner is a brilliantly colored Icefura, a birdman, but of the parrot variety. Gorgeous greens and reds and blues across the feathers that fray out at the base of his neck, and large feathers that come down from the arms. It seems with this Icefura, it is not wings separated from the arms, they are one and the same. I hear there is quite a commotion.
Yes. We are trapped in a time loop and trying to figure out how to break it before, well, our 12 minutes is up. Probably more at 11:50 now.
And the Umdura says, Ionic Rite of Command. Very well. Time, chronomancy, dunamancy. It's talking to attendants to the side. Books, all of them. Pull them from the shelves. Do not bother taking them to tables. Bring them here. We only have such a short time left. We will do what we can. When you come again.
Sorry,
go ahead. Oh,
I was just gonna walk. Yeah, I was just gonna walk over to Chief and be like, "Hey, since it looks like we're gonna have to do this again, I'm just gonna grab Zern and just tell you to go so that way we can get here faster.
He's already climbing in the cart at that point. So
But we don't want to fall out.
As we're getting ready on the cart and things are getting grabbed, I want to turn towards the Ice Fura. And your name, good sir, so that I may better grab your attention in our haste.
In haste, let us do this. And he pulls out a paper and writes on it. Looks like he's drawing a bit of a map of the Kaimal Reserve. These are the sections where these types of books are held. There is a section that's labeled for Arcana. There's specific like subclasses of Arcana, Chronomancy, Time, Manipulation, Dunamancy. A number of sections in the library are given. Waiting for me to respond will only cost you time. You lost a minute and a half waiting for me to walk here, because I will never know your haste. It is better for you to rush through the halls of the reserve, perhaps in separate directions, here in the great library of Kaimal.
What do we tell others that try to stop us in the Great Library in order to
Given
keep
that
them
you are
away?
entering from an internal chamber, you may be accosted for running in the halls, but shouldn't be stopped.
would anything from the Fizzbangs be useful to us? Any writings?
He turns and looks to you and says, "What a peculiar question."
I came across them in Rexingtrum and the name during my studies with the Watchers.
He's going to roll an insight check on you. It's natural 20. Warforged, you do not have the luxury of lying to me.
Not
And
so
we are all
much.
standing here losing time.
It's not so much lying as I would rather share this information later, but specifically Elifred Fizzbang.
He hands the map over to you, Ceradyn, and in matching it up with the layout here, there's kind of this star pattern to this, and two of the wings specifically are kind of like Arcana / Divine Focused sections, specifically around like spell work and things like that. The sections are interspersed along those two hallways that are each probably 150, 200 feet long. A large library. And very quickly moving down one of these sections, things are very clearly labeled. You get the sense that if you do come here again, it will be quite a simple task for everyone to pick a section, or to attack a section altogether. But time burns, and you have about 4 minutes left. Who's doing what?
We need to lay out who's going to go where.
I'll
Help
take
it all
Dunamancy.
if I send a message to Darren. Do you think he might be of aid in our circumstance?
I would assume with the timing that's happening, I'm not sure how effective that would be.
If he responds within the 30 minutes, then all the help we get, the better.
I mean, I'm sure he's just another wealth of knowledge that we can pick at.
I mean, I'd say
Arni. Go ahead.
I would say to send your message, if available, the moment we restart, so we can get as much help as possible. But you need to start thinking about how you would relay that and whether or not you can.
You do know, Arni, that 1, get your spells back every time. 2, your Ring of Sending is ready. You guys spent a week in the Tide Peak Tower. So, there's opportunity to do something like that. As well as if there's anyone else's ability to send messages.
Zenesha, upon our restart, grab Zern, pull him into the cart, and Chief, you go as fast as you can. We can fill him in on the way.
Sounds
Go
like a good
straight
plan.
in. We just need to make this as efficient as possible.
I guess I'm not a very efficient.
I would
You can
like
hit
one
the-
more clarification on where a certain, hopefully this is around, certain spatial type of magic as well. Like subdimensional or...
So what specifically are we asking?
what I learned about when I was messing with the stones. The subdimensional space. Chief thinks it might help, but that's just...
Yeah, so here's you
If
weren't
there's
the
any
one to
other-
enchant them, but if you wanted to spend time researching that, you very well could. You carry with you a number of, as a group, subdimensional oriented things. So it's hard to say what kind of effect those things would have.
So Shem, you'll go down this way to the Dunamancy. Chief, are you heading towards Arcana?
Dimensional research? What are you
I'll
doing?
go to the I'll go check on dimensional research since I've already kind of checked on that. Who knows? It might be that type of a thing.
I'll go with Zern to see if we can find Chronomancy in the Arcana area.
It's probably the most direct.
You can try divination.
Arni wants to turn to
Divination?
Zern
Okay.
and ask Zern, do every single one of these loops end in some sort of violent catastrophe, or are there peaceful loops that just reeked at us back at the beginning?
He said there
there
were
are
some that just turned
times-
into bunnies.
Yes, there. That was a nice one. I sat there for the 30 minutes and pet a family of bunnies. But there's 30 seconds left. The end is undetermined. Could be anything. Now, it's not Schmeckledorf anymore. It's ultimatum. You understand?
Yes, I do.
And with that shattering glass feeling, and shoot me in the face, please, kill me. So you whipping the reins, he's getting pulled off. Who's doing what?
I'm grabbing him and just screaming ultimatum. Running off.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, just make a strength check for me, please.
I was told to go right when we started. So.
I was. Yep, that is true.
Yep. At a 17, yeah. For a halfling, a half-orc pulling a halfling, easy enough. And as he's like flying past you, he goes, ultimatum! But you all begin tearing through the street. No respect for limits of speed or anything like that. And he says,
I'd like to make it go faster as well by way of expeditious retreat.
You
Channel that
haven't
again.
set up a way to...
Yeah,
No,
that
I
just
haven't.
works on self. Yeah.
No, you
I
haven't
set it up yet through
developed
the
a
card.
way to channel it into them.
That's
Um,
something I am going to try to do. So.
Yes.
That's right. I
You could
forgot.
spend your research time doing that.
Well, depending on how
Charging
much
through,
we-
is there anything anybody wants to try to do or ask or say the way into Cobalt Reserve? It's
I'm
about 6
basically
minutes.
just trying to update Zern with what we did.
As
last
you do,
time.
he says, no need. You said ultimatum. I understand. We're into the Cobalt Reserve. Where did it take us? Which one?
Kaimal.
Kaimal, the Great Library. That's fortunate. I hope that's the same every time. Oh, I hope that's the same every time. How many times?
That was our first time. This will be second.
Oh, there's a great deal of work ahead. I see. So the Ionic Rite of Command. And he just starts muttering to himself for a moment. It seems that the mental strain of cataloging centuries of experience in 32 and 18-minute windows is a bit of a challenge. But any conversations or anything on the way to the Cobalt Reserve?
I think just probably going over which person's going to go where and pointing out on the map, you know.
Percep's just in the corner muttering to himself, I could have done it. Why couldn't I have done it? I said I was going to do it.
Stopping at a screeching halt in front of the Cobalt Reserve in Nicodranus, pouring out and rushing up to the door. Ceradyn also showing your belly.
showing my belts.
Yep. They see the hurry and they rip the doors open quickly. Rushing in, an attendant says, "Hi, Expositor, what can I do for you?"
Continuing to run, I'm getting to High Archivist Umdora.
Very well, you're going in the right direction.
Like, just blowing past him, basically, all of us.
Okay. All of you going past him. And, you know, Zerd is still muttering to himself, but he's absolutely sprinting alongside all of you. Chief, you make an especially loud clatter as you sprint. And it does draw a lot of attention. And the door that Umdora originally came out of blasts open. He says, "What's all the racket out here?"
It's the Ionic Rite. It's the Ionic Rite of Command. It's for Malia. We need to go now.
Go. And he turns and bursts through the same door, piling into the room. Again, you guys are in the Kaimal Reserve, Great Library.
Zern, you're with me.
Where?
During the travel to the Cobalt Reserve, Arni has composed a message he'd use 2 third-level spell slots to send to both, first one to Darren, second one to Gilmore.
Okay.
And then spend the rest of the time waiting for a response. The message reads as follows. Stuck in time loop in Nicodranus. Lasts 32 minutes, 18 seconds. Each time loop is different. Sometimes we all die catastrophically. Can you help us?
Okay. And the one to Gilmore?
Same message.
Same message. Okay. Arni, what happens is an unintelligible cacophony in your mind as the overlaying of hundreds, thousands of responses just roars in your mind. And you're going to take some psychic damage.
Oh.
Now, the quantity of psychic damage is relative to... It's a probabilistic thing. I'm going to roll a number of dice to determine how many d6 I'm going to roll. I just rolled a 20 and an 18, and I said I was going to roll 40, 20. 20 to 50. Oh no. Okay.
Drool dead.
Yeah, you wish. So 40 plus 18 is 58 plus 15 is 73. I don't think there's any way for you to survive the average on this. That is 281 points of psychic damage.
That's 3 times
you all
maximum.
You all exit this room, and Arni's head A pink mist is sprayed across the room.
All right.
Arni would
Note
have
to
at least
self.
told them that he was sending this before he did
Yes.
so.
Yeah,
get
we
there
knew
and
about
Essentially, essentially you spent like the 6 minutes in the cart, like thinking to yourself. Then you guys went through the teleporter. Then you were like, "Oh, hey, Gilmore and Darren."
Yeah. So okay.
Arnie's dead.
Why
Don't
did he tell?
don't use
Gilmore?
don't use sending at all. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that's what happened. All right, go, Zern, you're with me.
And there, as you guys scatter from this, other people are swarming this scene that is left behind.
Yep.
They are slightly confused as to why the people that came in with him are just running away to look for books when his head just exploded. But
as I'm running past, don't worry, he'll be fine.
it happens every time. Oh man. Oh, okay. On to research. You would have at this point about 24 minutes left. It's only about 2 minutes to get into the Nicodranus Reserve, through the teleporter, and to your selected stations. I would ask Arni where he went to research. Basil, where do you go to research?
I go to the divination.
Divination. Okay, go ahead and roll an investigation check. Sashem.
Dunamancy.
Dunamancy. Go ahead and roll investigation. Ceradyn. You went to Arcana with Zern, right?
Yes, for the chronomancy.
Or Chronomancy. Okay, go ahead and roll investigation with advantage because you have Zern with you.
Okay.
Chief. Dimensional magic.
Yeah, I'm headed to that area.
Okay. Same for you. Go ahead and roll investigation.
Both 4s. So a 6 total.
Zenesha, where are you going?
Dirty 20 for me.
I'll get to the results.
Alteration was one of the options, right?
Alteration, yeah. Well, I mean, everything is an option. This is the great library of Kaimal. Like, everything is there. But if you want alteration as a fundamental magic, okay, go ahead and roll investigation. All right.
13. Yes.
She
I mean,
just runs off to books and it's like, this one doesn't have any pictures.
Okay, to be fair, Ceradyn hasn't. To be fair, Ceradyn doesn't know. That's why he didn't ask for an assigned route for you.
That's so fucked up.
I thought of this.
Right.
I thought of it.
Oh my gosh. Essentially, most of you find tiny little tidbits of information. There's, Dunamancy absolutely has in the past been used to attempt to apply manipulating time. Dunamancy is about possibility, about probability, luck even. And you get enough time to introduce yourself to this in a very, very vague fashion. It also just so happens that the book you selected was Introduction to Dunamancy, written by Essek Thalis. Let's see. Basil, you were sorry, say again where you were.
I was in divination.
Divination. Okay. Divination, you delve into one of the books, and it talks about peering through time, even in attempts to peer the future. It never really causes the twisting of time itself. Never really addresses that. Ceradyn, you're not much help, but Zern seems to be picking up a couple of things. And he does say to you, chronomancy is so vast. You're the only way that I can pass information to myself or to anyone else. This chronomancy is so delicate. Traveling into the future is borderline trivial because you simply step into a space where time flows faster, and then you can step back in when you please. But going back, that's supposed to be impossible. It's supposed to be impossible. And we don't have much time left.
Just
He
give
closes
me
that book and starts
what
to-
I need to tell you to direct you further.
Skip one. And he puts it back. And he spent about that amount of time delving through that one book. So he said, tell him to skip one.
Okay.
Zenesha, in Alteration, many spells, many applications of Arcana utilize the fundamental nature of Alteration of this school of magic to achieve functions of the certain spells. It's not like Evocation where you're propagating and launching something. Alteration does twist and change things. And in specifically researching, you are able to see that, like, Alteration is a factor in Chronomancy. Alteration is a factor in Dunamancy, but it's not the... Maybe it's not the answer. Chief, with a 22, just before the shattering sound.
It goes down to a 20.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we got to factor exhaustions into this. With a 20, which was the DC, so it's good that you only had the 2 points of exhaustion. Dimensional magic. Subdimensions. Pocket dimensions. Demiplanes. They flow at different time rates. It's possible that either with the lot of you carrying subdimensional or pocket dimensional items, that something could be protected from the effects. Maybe. Shoot me in the face. Please. Kill me. And then I imagine, grab. Ultimatum. Like, all of it happens again and through the Cobalt's reserve in Nicodranus.
And I feel like we would update each other on the drive there with what we found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of pooling information.
Keith, you're saying that, like, a pocket dimension might protect items and might be able to. We might be able to bring something back with us each time. Is that what you found?
Possibly. Sashem, do you have a bag of holding still?
The bag of holding.
Yeah, I have my bag of holding.
What if we gather
says
a bunch of books and put them in there?
Booked, and we can see if this the Cobalt Reserve has a scroll of teleportation too. Even if just one, we can see. That might save us several minutes, which adds up to hours, days.
Though we should test it on an easier object.
Agreed.
She's gonna lean out of the cart and like get grass or stones from the side of the road and just stuff it in her bag.
Okay, because you have a bag of holding as well, right? Okay.
Yep.
And Sashem, as you said, you had a bag of holding. Zern walked up with an apple in his pocket and just slowly reaches over and places it in.
Okay.
It's worth a shot.
Sure.
Given that you're all sharing information, how many times have you been to the reserve in Kaimal?
Twice.
How far? What? Where do I need to start?
Skip one.
In what field?
Chronomancy.
Very well. And making your way through again. Let's make the same sweep of investigation checks. This time with Arni still alive, though.
Yeah.
About the time that you guys get to the reserve in Nicodranus, that sensation, Arni, as you suffer at a point of exhaustion because you died last cycle.
Advantage.
Zenesha in alteration. Sashem in
Lunamancy.
So to preserve time a little bit, I'm effectively only going to address the rolls that meet the DC for information.
All right.
Mine was 16 because of
That's
my exhaustion. Don't forget your
Natural 20
exhaustion.
for 23 minus my 2 points of exhaustion for a 21.
But a
Nice.
natural 20.
Rub it in our face.
We all need those.
And
It's fine.
yeah. And what section, Arni?
Dunamancy.
Dunamancy alongside Sheshem. Okay. And then we have Ceradyn. You needed to roll at advantage, Ceradyn, by the way, because you have Zern with you.
I did. I got an 8 and a 16.
Oh,
But
it
I
didn't show as. Oh, okay. There we go.
I just didn't count the
Okay,
+2, so I got a 16.
All right, Chief. Kind of starting from the bottom to the top. The dimensional magic. You gain a little bit more assurance that there is a possibility of things being protected in dimensional spaces, but you do find that it's not a certainty. Second, we have Ceradyn alongside Zern in Chronomancy. You find one account of a wizard who initiated an event like this, who experienced one singular loop sometime before an apogee solstice and was trapped. His account. Go ahead.
No, you keep going. I'll ask after.
Okay. His account was of a series of only several minutes that looped continuously quite some time, the point that he was driven mad. But his loop did not change. So it was the same loop over and over and over again with no changes.
Okay.
So, as you and Zern converse, it's similar in some ways, but divergent in others.
And
Let's see.
what does he give me to skip this time, Zern?
It just says skip to. Essentially, you get through skimming and then focusing in on one section of one book each cycle.
Okay.
Arni. Dunamis is a magic, a field of magic that is just as persistent and ever present as all other fields of magic, as the divine light of the gods that filters through the world, as the ethereal that bleeds into the prime material from the ethereal plane, as the will of the humanoid, of the mortal mind, is just as present. It's more difficult to collect, but it is a fundamental component of chronomancy. That's what you're able to collect. The first cycle where you all come back with nobody planning to take a point of exhaustion. So, moving forward, grab ultimatum. You pull him. You guys are getting fast enough at this point where he doesn't even finish asking you to shoot him in the face because you're ready.
Sashem, check the
Information is shit. Guys reaching into your bags?
I'm gonna grab him,
Okay.
see if I can get the apple out.
Okay, Zenesha and Shem, just both roll a d20.
Mm.
Okay. Sashem, an apple doesn't come to your hand. You reach into the bag and you've learned how that, like, you kind of reach into the bag, think about what you want, and it shows up in your hand. Nothing comes out. Zenesha,
All right, guys.
you reach into the bag and you pull it out, and dead, dried, half-rotten grass is in your hand. Like, a great deal of time has passed. And then it kind of crumbles in your hand, desiccated.
Well, that's gross.
At least it's
Zern's
not
just
like grossy
Yes.
gross. Like
That is, and turning to Chief, who you're driving the hogs as fast as you can. It's probabilistic, isn't it? There's a chance it works and a chance it doesn't.
So far from what I've
Arni
been reading, yes.
spy where it was that they tore the grass to see if that grass is still there or that grass is now missing.
We're already gone.
yeah.
You could, I mean,
This was I thought this
no,
was like
because
the first
given
thing
the
you did.
point at which, I mean, you'd kind of be coming up on this point because the conversations roll as the cart is rolling, and Zenesha's decision to reach out and get grass was at a specific point. Just make a perception check. It's a high DC. This is a pretty challenging thing, unless
So
okay.
20
but you have
minus 3
exhaustion.
was 18.
Yes. You don't catch it. You feel like that might be the area, but it's a hell of a thing to try to catch. But Zern does say a specific marker. You Half-orc, your name? It doesn't matter. A specific place. A specific place. Grab it from a specific place.
Do we turn like any corners at all, like on our way there?
Oh, a number. Yes, and there are flowers, occasionally grasses, tall grasses, a field of wheat along the way.
What if we got it right in front of the Cobalt Reserve?
Yes, that'd be easy to look at.
As I'm yelling
Okay.
back.
Rushing to the
Arni would
Cobalt
like
Reserve.
to, like, as the cart is going, Arni would also like to look for anybody in the streets or the crowds that would have like a hair ribbon, and then ask if I could. I'll even throw a handful of gold at him, just like, can I buy your hair ribbon, so that we can see if that hair ribbon is still
So
them the next time we pass.
one thing is I'd like you to understand you're moving at about 25 miles an hour on this cart. It's fast. So if you're throwing
Okay,
coins
never
at
mind
somebody,
then.
I'm not going to stop you.
Well,
It's going to be an
maybe if there's
assault.
a hair ribbon that I can just reach out and grab as we're passing down the streets.
Okay. Yeah, just make a dexterity check. There's no shortage of bandanas, turbans, even a number of things.
You're gonna freaking knock somebody out.
They'll be fine next time. A 10. Okay. The only thing you guys see Arni is hanging off the cart, just like grabbing at people off the cart as they're driving by, just like, and a lot of people are like, hey, what are you doing? You do get a hold of a bandana and about a fistful of hair from this poor halfling woman that rips out readily because you're moving quite quickly and you were serious about grabbing it. It's like, she's like, but you have a tuft of hair that's probably about that much, which you realize is a lot of hair, and a silk bandana.
We'll quickly shove it in the bag of holding.
Whose
As
bag of
we-
holding? Don't put that in my bag of holding. That's gross. We got some bloods on that. I don't know what's on that. Stick it in Zenesha's.
I'm sure Zenesha won't mind, so we'll stick it in Zenesha.
They'll hold it open and just be like, just because I accidentally killed you the first time.
pulling up to the Cobalt Reserve of Nicodranus. As everybody's rushing in, Zenesha, what are you grabbing? There's flowers, there's a tree with leaves that are hanging down low. What are you getting?
So just the very first flower bed on the right. She'll take 2 handfuls, put 1 in Shashem's bag, and allow it, and then 1 in hers.
Okay.
Yeah, allow
And
that. That's
easy
fine.
enough. And the damage is obvious. Like, you rip these out of the ground. You no concern for anything. It looks atrocious. You stuff them into the 2 bags. And run in. The Ionic Rite of Command. This is for Malia. You rush. You're transported through. You're in Kaimal. All to the same sections again. Okay, explain that a little bit in more detail, Tyler, while we go through rolls. Everybody roll your investigation checks again.
Oh, come on. Sorry.
Ooh. And then give me your numbers as I go through 4.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Including exhaustion. So 23 from Chief. Chief, you get the sense that inanimate things have a higher probability of success. Non-magical things have a lower probability of success. So something enchanted might be able to, within the dimensional space, might be more likely to move through the cycles.
Okay.
Ceradyn, there with Chronomancy alongside Zern. He kind of
18.
throws he throws a book down and he goes, someone is there. Someone is there. This isn't something you can do and then walk away from. They are there. They're trying to do something. There's an objective. Someone's there. And you guys are the only ones that met the DC. So. Yep.
My question was, I was gonna try to figure out how to infuse the spell that I want to.
Which spell?
The Expeditious Retreat.
Oh, I feel
during
you
one
would,
of these times of
I feel you would understand that you are looking to fabricate a mechanism for the hogs to be able to absorb that spell. That is a weeks long, a persistent week of work. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah, you got the dimensional magic. Okay. Again, all the way through. Approaching the Cobalt Reserve in Nicodranus. Have you guys reached into the bags?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, roll d20s.
Quite beneficial that we don't have a faster way there because we're able to update each other on the ride.
Yeah. Zenesha, you reach in, there's nothing there. No flowers, no bandana, no hair. Sashem, you reach in and pull out the clump of flowers. Dirt still hanging.
Hey, guys, check this out! It lasted! Now we just gotta make sure it's actually gone?
Are the flowers
the
like actually alive?
They're the same. This only happened half an hour ago. As far as the dimensional space is
but the
concerned.
flowers are alive.
Yeah, they just grabbed them. So why wouldn't they be alive? I mean, the
Zone
apple
says,
was gone, but
it's probabilistic. You understand that it's as if you're casting a die, and it can destroy and it completely eliminate what you put in, or it could follow through. Yes.
would we would we be looking more in Dunamancy then?
Dunamancy to protect ourselves, but chronomancy to stop it. Does that make sense?
No, but sure. Okay.
All right. Stepping out of the cart. Zenesha, I imagine you're the one that would look to the flowers. The clump on the right that went into Zenesha or Sashem's bag is already ruined.
It's permanent.
Permanent change.
She'll just announce that as they're running in.
Yeah, and this
Freaking
is
Hermione going around with her little necklace.
What was that?
It's freaking Hermione going around with her stupid little necklace with us.
Speaking of Sheshem, as we run through this time, he's tricked enough people. He's gonna try and steal something off of somebody and stick it into the bag of holdings and see if he can keep it.
At this point, you're inside the reserve, so you're stealing
Oh,
from
yeah.
the reserve?
Totally. I have no idea really the reserve. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
30 minutes we're gonna reset anyway, so he thinks he'll...
roll a sleight of hand check.
And my passive perception.
Ooh, 3.
At a 3? Yeah, you see Sheshem sneaking up to somebody and trying to pick a pocket.
No. He doesn't want to sneak up. He wants to like grab it on run. So it's just something on the outside that he can just grab while running.
Oh, just an object of any kind?
Just something that looks cool. It's just like whatever he's just gonna grab it and take off.
The first thing that you really spot is kind of just like this bust statue. It's like a bronze statue, and you just swipe it.
Yep. Swipe it, stick it in the bag of holdings, keep running.
Okay. How would that be handled? What the? It's like so brazen that it's like, okay.
I think Ceradyn's just going to take note of it.
Nobody noticed. 2 natural ones on my roll.
Makes me feel better.
But the bust goes into the bag of holding, and it's 8 inches tall, total like 4 inches round, not big at all the way through again and into the chamber of Great Library. And Zern kind of stops and grabs you, Chief, and says, what object could we take with us? What would help? What would change this?
The last trip through, I learned that maybe a magical object that's inanimate, not a living thing, has a higher probability.
An enchanted weapon, an enchanted armor, an enchanted pendant,
maybe
something.
A crystal ball or something.
But of what use? How do we interact with dunamancy and chronomancy? How do we either protect ourselves, to isolate ourselves from the loop, or how do we find maybe a crystal ball could work? Maybe that could work. In the first century, I delved into divination magic and appearing in attempting to scry on others.
Maybe a compass of sort with the freaking goat meme. With some sort of detection magic to point us.
If such a thing exists, we would need the High Archivist of here. Do we know his name? Their name. I don't know that it's a he.
I know that it's a parrot of looking thing.
I steer.
Okay. And he runs off. Anybody following him, or are you guys going to research?
I'm following with him because he's the one who knew what he was looking for.
Okay. Anybody that's going to research, go ahead and roll an investigation. And anyone who's following Zern, trudging off into one of the sections that has much more extravagantly labeled books, much more stuff about the divine specifically. And a door sits at the end of the hallway, beautifully colored, much like the colors of the Icefura High Archivist. Zern just bursts through the door, and inside is the Icefura and another individual. And catching up behind is Umdura, just doing his best to keep up, to kind of explain things. This archivist! Oh! No, there's no time to catch my breath. Clicking his cane on the ground, he says, Iona Grad of Command. Archivist Mike, we need you. He stands up and rushes out the door. What is it? Chief, is there anything you'd like to say? Or Ceradyn?
Chief's going to stay silent for right now.
I imagine that Zern would be here with purpose, so I would be waiting for Zern's response as well.
Zern says, time loop, chronomancy, dunamancy. How do we protect ourselves? We need an enchanted magical item or something that will allow us to peer, to locate someone who is utilizing these magics. I don't know that we hold something like that here. Iman might have something at the Visuran Memorial. I imagine that place might have something, but how long do you have in this loop? And Zern goes, 7 minutes left. No, 17. Apologies, 17 minutes. Oh, that is not long.
While they're talking, I want to pull Ceradyn out of the room for a second.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There's 17 minutes.
Just want to get out of earshot.
Okay. Yeah, it's easy enough. The large, long hallway.
What is it, Chief?
There's something about Zern. He seems to know the direction he's going all too well. How much can we trust him? How do we know he's not the one that's actually causing this? We only are taking him at his word. We've been doing all this, and yet he has really done nothing to help us.
Fair enough.
Why don't we put it to the test on the next reset?
I won't.
I'll be
If you're too fast for me to stop, I can't stop you. That's all he says before going back in.
Now, as you go back in, Ceradyn, you see a scroll being handed to Zern.
What's that?
This, a scroll of teleportation. We may be able to get to the Visuran Memorial in Iman to see if there's any answers there for items that could help us. This needs to get to a bag of holding quickly.
Here.
He hands it to you.
And I have one, so.
Yes, you do. The opening is just big enough for the scroll to disappear into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's a lead. It's a lead. It's been so long since I cared. It's been so long since I cared. I wonder. He turns back to the Icefura, Mike. Is there anything that could extract memory from my mind and also be stowed away? Is there anything? Again, not here, but maybe in Iman. Okay. Because if we can preserve my memory, we can learn faster. We can move faster. Especially if I learn how to teleport. It's one of the things I wasn't able to master. All right. Okay. And those rolls, on investigation, none of them high enough to glean any further information. You delve into new books, and many of them don't give anything pertinent. And there you are. Shoot me in the face. Please, kill me.
I wanted to try one thing before the timeline reset.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So, like, just a minute before it would change over, it's going to pull out one of her spared daggers, cast Wrathful Smite on it, and then put it into her bag of holding.
Okay. All right. Yep, you cast it and you put it in. Just roll an intelligence check to see how well you time a minute.
That's fair. 2.
Yeah, I mean, you cast it. Yeah. So you go back, and there he is, staring into the back of the cart. And the cart hasn't immediately lurched into motion, much to the surprise of most of you.
My arm is swinging at him, gun coming up right at his forehead, shooting
He's just
twice. Because I got
Lands
the
on his
2
back.
attacks, and it is a magic infused with the repeating shot, so I don't have to reload.
So just go ahead. So they're automatic hits because he's a willing target. Go ahead and roll damage as a crit for both attacks.
There's the first one. 29.
They're not showing up for me for some reason. Try refreshing that.
First one was 29 piercing damage straight to his face.
I mean, it just goes through and through.
And then just
Much
for fun,
like Arni.
just for fun, the second one, because it'd be a repeating shot.
29 again. Yeah, Zenesha, out of reflex, you reach out to grab him, and his head just, the back half of it just goes.
Wait, why don't we kill him now?
Surprise, she's just gonna be like, did something happen last time?
Arnie's freaking out a little bit because he was off researching.
I'm going off of a pure hunch. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess we're taking a relaxation this time round, right, guys?
We can still do
Don't like that.
research. We can
Yes,
still do
and
research.
I'll get us pushing forward and going.
We should still go.
Okay. Moving along. Zenesha, are you checking your bag?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll a d20.
As am I.
At advantage. Which means roll 2d20. What did you take, Ceradyn? Oh, it was
The
the
scroll.
scroll. That's right.
I'm gonna check my bag too. I took the statue.
Oh, that's right. You also roll a d20. Ceradyn, yours technically at advantage as well.
Oh, okay.
Because it is, again, enchanted.
That's 13.
Yeah, Sashem, nothing there. Zenesha,
Dang.
you reach in, and what you pull out is a mangled, rusted, pitted, useless dagger. It's like it's been in the bottom of a river under the soot and silt for decades.
Well,
The
that's
dagger
unfortunate.
the dagger still sits at your hip.
And is it? So I mean, if it looks like it's been at the bottom of a river the whole time, like, is it wet?
It's not wet. It's just that corroded, that aged.
Wait a minute. You still have it on your hip. You have 2 now. Even though that one is obviously destroyed.
So it is the one, like the spot on her hip where the dagger was. Is that the same spot?
It's
From the one
still
that
the
she was
normal
grabbing?
dagger, as if it had never been removed.
You have
I
two
think
now.
we just became the richest people in the entire land.
No,
We start
Arnie.
dumping our platinum pieces into the bag of holding, and at least some of them are going to make it out each time.
Wait a second. That's where I keep my platinum. So we need to get other people. So we need to steal other people's platinum and then
Yeah.
put it in there.
It would already be the same for you, Arni, as well, because if you were carrying around 2,000 gold pieces and 200 platinum pieces, it would be like ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk all the time.
We're not going to steal. We're trying to free ourselves from this.
I just still don't understand why we're rushing this, and it's only been like 8 times now. Why? What's the rush? Can't we have fun while we're doing this? I mean, he
I'd
just blew
like
away
to
Zern,
not
who
be
is
trapped
crazy.
here.
Oh, nobody does, but 8 times for 30. That's only been 4 hours? It's not too bad.
Ceradyn, as you reach into your bag, the scroll is in your hand.
Maybe you should use that next time around.
Instead of pulling it out of the way, he's just gonna pull out that he verified it and then push it back in.
Okay.
Can we just chillax? Because I think my brain's gonna explode from all of this.
And Zern just says, "You think?
Zern's dead.
Zern's not here.
This stage is difficult."
Zern is dead.
Oh,
Zern is dead.
oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
He's a ghost now.
Now the DM is losing track of his loops.
Hang on. In all fairness, Sashem would be able to see him ethereally.
You don't see dead people. Not like that.
Oh. Okay.
You're not Haley Joe Osment.
And
Wow.
Bruce Willis is not here.
That's for sure.
That you know. Zern is Bruce
Star.
Willis.
Guest
He actually would be bad
player.
at that.
But still making your way through the Cobalt Reserve into the
Yep.
Primal
Are we?
Reserve.
Mhm.
Are you not?
This time I'm staying with the cart. I think Shashem's he blew away Zern. I'm just gonna chill here. It'll reset in a little bit.
Are the flowers still missing?
They are. A
Even though
permanent
they're-
change.
But they weren't in Shashem's bag anymore.
I didn't look.
You
I didn't
haven't
put them back
grabbed
in the
them.
bag. I don't think. I grabbed them, but I don't think I put them back in the bag.
It's up to you if you did.
I don't think I would. I'd be like, oh, cool, it worked. And then I would just drop them.
So instead, what you do see,
He doesn't know any of this stuff, so he's like,
as you pull up to the reserve, one of the attendants that would be there to open the door is picking up a set of flowers that have dirtied and spilled across the entryway, kind of sweeping them up where Sashem dropped them.
I'm going to walk up to him if they all run in. I'm just going to be like, hey, what happened here? This is crazy. This is a mess. You guys
So
aren't normally
Sashem
like
falls
this.
behind as you are all
Yep.
rushing.
Yes.
Sashem, you don't make the teleport. You're left behind.
That's fine.
Okay. So, the rest of you make your way through to the Kaimal Reserve. Who's doing what?
I think we'd be doing the same investigations, wouldn't we?
If you'd like to.
I'm gonna go help Ceradyn out in his section.
Okay. Still chronomancy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like each to individual or one of us at advantage?
I think it'd be better if we both looked individually.
Okay.
Okay. Arni, what would you be doing?
I would probably either be researching chronomancy more or looking for an enchanted object that might benefit us.
Okay. I imagine that in the sharing of information during the ride, you would have been told that here in Kaimal, there's not really anything, but perhaps in Iman at the Vysoran Memorial, there would be. Which is, many days travel or a teleport away. So, is there anything else you'd like to try to do?
Just assist the others. See if I can.
Okay. Yeah.
Assist,
I think,
Ceradyn,
Let's just have you roll
maybe
another investigation.
Give it.
Basil, what would you be doing?
I'm still going to be looking in Divinity, but specifically on bugs of the chain.
The Changebringer? Okay, go ahead and roll investigation. Zenesha.
She probably would have switched magic types, going over to Dunamancy.
Okay, go ahead and roll investigation. The trio working in chronomancy. You find a reference to a device that existed in antiquity that was able to observe changes in time between two phases of something. But it has long since been lost. It's able to detect these surges or waves of chronomantic magic, dunamantic magic, that lead to the divergence of timelines based on people's decisions, whether the flame flickers left or flickers right. And it leads you to realize, kind of more of an existential thing, that there are likely always a multitude of timelines spawning, emerging, being destroyed at all times, constantly.
Does it describe what this item looks like?
It shows it as a simple spyglass.
Okay.
Basil, given that you've shifted a little bit, you do learn a little bit about the Changebringer. Given the relevance to this session specifically, I'll write it up for you, just so that we're keeping everything congruent. And there you are, back in the cart.
Hey!
Shoot me in the face, please. Kill me.
Hey, he's back!
Before we start moving, I'm going to climb on top while they're messing with him. And look
Okay,
towards...
so imagine ultimatum, grabbing him back in, all that.
Okay. I'm going to pull out the spyglass that I have and take a look back towards where everything that has happened to us in terms of death.
Where he ran
Okay.
to us from, or the courtyard area?
Well, it's the way the cart's facing, that would be the same direction.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Because we would have had to flip the cart around to drive back towards the courtyard, and he came in through the back of the cart, which is towards the courtyard.
True, yeah.
At the moment.
Scanning the skyline. Pulses of light through the top half of the spyglass. Bottom half shows kind of like a hot summer day. Top half is night. Pulses of white light off in that direction.
Ceradyn, can you come up here real quick?
Yo.
And as he lands on my shoulder, I'll just hold the spyglass for him, pointing the right direction, the same direction I was just found the pulse.
Okay. It is easy enough to see. And down below, I imagine there's conversation and some knowledge being shared with Zern.
I'm sure he's freaking out that we aren't booking it. She said ultimatum.
At first he is, but then he quickly realizes there's a reason for it.
What are we looking for?
I've been holding the spyglass in the spot where I noticed the pulsing.
Yeah, and Ceradyn, you see just off, it's somewhere around that courtyard. There's just like this pulse of light occasionally. Just.
I mean, you actually did finish Zern last time. Maybe we should have him take a look at this. Do you have a little bit more trust now, or no?
Possibly, but you know that book we found describing and showing us an image of one that can show two different timelines?
Yes.
I believe this is that spyglass.
That definitely feels correct to me.
I have an idea. It'll take us two, maybe 3 times of the time frame, but if we stay away from the square, or even, I'm not sure, I can teach someone how to handle the hogs. We can go towards the source of the pulse while someone is keeping an eye on it through the telescope. I guess I can drive and you keep an eye on it, but
We could hunker down next to the tower.
and if all else fails, maybe we can. No, rushing in and teleporting would probably take too long. Anyway, yeah, let's do that.
Boys, Chief has an idea he'd like to try.
And I'll take us back towards the tower, just not as like
I mean, considering you haven't moved yet, you're basically
We're
parked
right
up
next to
beside
it.
the gate.
Yeah, we just
So
want to
you're
pull
there.
back into the gate where it was.
Oh, pull into the courtyard. Okay.
Yeah, because from up
Tsunami.
ahead, above of the tsunami, I saw that place was shielded. So,
True.
that's why I wanted to pull into the courtyard.
yeah,
Okay, yep.
We'll go to there.
Easy
Right.
enough to pull inside. The gate was open. You know, like the timeline of this, right, is you guys came out of the gate, it was open, you were conversing, and then Zern showed up. And that's when everything started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna call over Zenesha, only because I think she might have the best strength to try and do this. Zenesha, I'm gonna teach you how to handle this cart.
Beat.
It's the only way. It's the only way someone can know how to drive this if I teach them and show them the ropes. It's going to take a couple tries in terms of resets. Do you want to learn?
I'm down.
Okay. Zenesha, roll an animal handling check for learning.
And I imagine the rest of us would get off the cart and stay in the courtyard for her learning to drive it, so that.
It's up to you. You know, you could see what it feels like to get ran over.
Nope, I'm gonna stay in the courtyard, off of the cart, but
Okay.
perched.
At a 10. So the way that I determined the DC for this is it would be 20 cycles minus the roll. So 300 minutes, well, 321 minutes, right? not an exceptionally long amount of time in reality, but given that 10 cycles are passing, what would everyone else be doing during that time? What about you, Basil?
He's going to be just looking through the cursed book as deciphering on his own.
Okay. Make a religion check.
A 7.
Okay. It's difficult. It's difficult. But you do spend with this is 6 hours. And to put into perspective how strange the sensation is during the reset, all of the exertion, all of the sweat, all of the sprinting, the energy that's lost, damage you take, everything just resets. You're alert, you're awake, as if you were just fully rested because you guys left at like 10. So it's like the exertion starts to mean nothing because you know it's just going to click and reset. But your mind maintains the information. In specifics, Basil, it's something happened to my not my camera, but my there we go. You don't necessarily find anything new in this time, except something that again I'll type out to you, because I imagine you'd keep it private.
Yes.
Arni, what would you be doing during this 6 hours?
So Arni has a lot of experience with kind of investigating and has the ins and outs of both the law enforcement and the criminal aspect of things. He'd probably spend all this time trying to suss out any area he think that like if there's like any like sorcerer or any unseen person in the shadows or somebody else stuck in the loop, and just kind of investigating different places to see if there's somebody in the shadows that's doing all of this.
Okay, just go ahead and roll an investigation check. Sashem, what would you be doing?
I'd probably be asking Zern all of the stories behind like what he's been through. So I'd just be listening stories and trying to take notes from my book.
Arni, the the immediate area is relatively quiet. Here, right next to the tide peak, you get the sense that it's a bit affluent. Even the alleyways are relatively clean. You imagine a certain wizard could probably walk through casting prestidigitation every day. Dirt and grime is gone. You get a good mile out, really, in a radius here, before any whiff of any kind of dark, shadowy things. Aside from over in the square, in one of the cycles, you are slain by a pit fiend, so you can add another point of exhaustion. In another cycle, which you would actually all notice, everyone else is bug people. And in the last cycle, before you decide to kind of stay in the courtyard, there's a dance-off happening in the courtyard. Up to you whether or not you joined in on that. But no,
absolutely,
no real hints of anything underbelly. Chief, you're busy teaching Zenesha. Ceradyn, what would you be doing?
I think Ceradyn's gonna do something he hasn't done before. And he's going to, on this secluded perch that he goes back to every reset for these resets, he's gonna try praying to Ioun. Because
Okay.
He's having trouble knowing what else to do.
Okay. Just go ahead and roll a religion check. And I got you already, Sashem, right?
It's just an 8.
Oh, an 8. That's right, because of the exhaustion.
Exhaustion!
Which actually, I guess, technically it'd be a little bit longer because, Zenesha, you have a couple exhaustion, right? Or have you just one? Okay, so just one more cycle. Not a big difference. Ceradyn, there's not like a sense of rejection or anything. There's just something in the way. That's all. You're relatively fervent about it, but just doesn't punch through. Zenesha, about halfway through the 11th cycle, so just past 6 hours, 7 hours almost, you are able to control the cart with moderate skill. You're not an expert by any means. You don't have horsemanship as one of your skills or anything, or hogmanship in a pinch or as necessary. Brute and grunt do follow your command, at least on the cart.
Hey,
So?
hey, did you see that? They listened to me!
Ah, very good, Zenesha. Now, how much time left do we have in this jump?
I feel like you'd
paying
all have
attention.
yeah, Zenesha would be the one not paying attention, but as well as Sashem most of the time. I imagine most of you have grown pretty accustomed to it by now and would have a pretty good understanding that you probably got about 15 minutes left this cycle. And I imagine, would you guys have invited Zern to like stick around each of these cycles, or would have you just had him walk away depressed?
No. Sheshem pulled them in for story time, so
Oh, every time? Okay, that's right.
every time. I
Oh,
need a new
yeah.
story every time.
So-
You already did that one. Next one. Nope, you already did that one. Next one.
Okay, and so
No,
during
I
this
have
last
not
cycle,
shared with him about. I have not shared him with the spyglass yet.
understood. The last story when everything's kind of resolving with Zenesha, and everyone's bodies were so entwined and together. It was really quite an interesting experience. Oh, what happened over there? And the cart you see is moving at Zenesha's command.
Oh, that's just the cart moving. Were you a part of the entangled bodies?
Oh,
All right,
yes.
Zenesha, go park
Quite
over
much.
there.
I don't know how I feel about that.
As we pull up
What?
and park, I'm like, over time, I'll teach the rest of you how to control the cart as needed, in case I am not able to or not around. Ceradyn, we could even let you give it a try.
I don't know
imagine
if
seeing
that's
Ceradyn's
going to
trying
be
whip the reins.
something. I don't think that's quite going to be for me, friend.
Yeah,
Okay.
to put Ceradyn's physical stature and ability into perspective, his melee attacks, his unarmed strikes, can't do damage.
So, as I'm standing up, not like on top of the cart, but enough to where I could see back towards the courtyard, I'll pull out the spyglass again and look from within the courtyard we're in to where I saw the whole thing. Is it still... All right, Zern. I'm gonna.
Just what is that you have?
I'll hold it in between two fingers because imagine it's like really small in my fist, but
It's pretty small, yeah.
I'm gonna hold it and like, this is something quite special. It's a spyglass. Come up here and take a look that way.
He wanders over. Says, "Oh, I'll tell you all about the time that everybody was inside out next time." He walks over and climbs up to the cart.
I'm going to keep a hold of it, but just at his eye level. So pointing out the right way.
He kind of positions it a little bit, and what is this showing me? I don't understand.
You see the one where it looks like it's normally in front of you, yes?
Yes, I do.
Now look at the upper side of it. It's showing, I think you said nighttime, right?
Yeah, it's showing a nighttime scene.
And it's at night, and there's a pulsating light.
What is
where
this? I don't
everything has
understand.
been happening.
But I've been all over that place. At least for the most part.
From what myself and Ceradyn and Arni discovered a couple jumps ago, there is an item that can tell you of 2 different times, or timelines, and this seems to be that. As I tuck it away.
It can detect and observe phases of Dunamagic magic if it is the item we believe it to be.
Is
So
this
the reason?
Is this the root of it then? Pointing off to the courtyard.
Quite possibly, and this is the reason I've been teaching Zenesha how to drive the cart. That is going to be a suggestion of a goal for the next loop, to turn and go directly towards it.
Okay. He kind of puts his hands up on your shoulders, which is really reaching up at this point, since he's a halfling and you're
You probably won't touch my chest.
Yeah, he's kind of patting your belly, and he's like, "The next time you see me, it's not ultimatum anymore. It's Fartvic Newton."
Fartvic Newton. Okay.
Yes. All right. Is it? Yes, that's right. Okay.
Now, everybody else, I suggest rest up for as much as we actually can with this situation, but
resting your minds at least for a moment.
Zenesha's gonna wrathful smite another dagger and put it in her bag.
Okay. You're able to do so.
I want to grab, and there's a barrel that I put some weapons that I had carrying with me since my trip to Rexingtrim. And one of those is that scythe that I got off of somebody, that vampiric scythe.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hand it to Zenesha and have her put it in her bag as well.
Okay. Oh, you would have detected that as a desecrated object earlier too. Anyway.
Yeah, that's why I said there's a number of things that Chief probably had. So
yeah, the scythe, the vampiric scythe, is now within your bag of holding, Zenesha, if you allow him to do it.
He's gonna be like, "Oh, that looks cool."
You could try it sometime.
Yeah.
Shoot me in the face, please. Kill me.
Fartvic Newton.
Where?
I'll just point behind us, basically where he came from.
Just came from there. And he climbs up. I'm ready.
All right, Zenesha, take us away. And I'll climb up on top and make sure I steer her the right way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make an animal handling check. Has all the effort been for naught? Yes.
I mean, I have not seen the roll yet, but I'm flying because I don't trust
It's a 5.
Zenesha.
It's a 5.
Oh my goodness!
Okay, we'll
good
try
thing I'm
this again
flying.
next time.
Zenesha takes off just fine, and the excitement gets to her and crashes and breaks the yoke that's on Grunt's side.
Oh.
It's a good thing that'll just be fixed in the next revamp.
Now, you do know that you're only 500-ish feet.
We'll
away
leave the
from
cart
courtyard.
here for now. Let's just hoof it.
And Zern goes, okay, let us go. Does that happen every time?
No, she's new at driving the cart.
Picking up skills, that was one of the only things that was worth doing. And he
So is it only
follows
in
you.
the courtyard that the bad stuff happens?
Oh, no. It just seems to be more frequently there.
Is the spyglass small enough for Ceradyn to carry while he's flying and look through it?
Yes, we confirmed that beforehand.
Yeah.
It's like this to him. He can still.
Yeah, it's big to him, but it's manageable. And, a spyglass isn't like a heavy thing.
I'll call him down. I'll let him carry it.
Oh, okay. I can use it.
And that way, since you're eye in the sky, you can actually be the eye in the sky to guide us.
That is a fantastic idea, Chief.
All right. Off we go.
Don't even need a perception check, Ceradyn. It is quite easy to see through this. You make your way. As everyone is running on the streets, you are able to make a straight line to the courtyard. Not directly in the courtyard, but one of the homes that's kind of often tucked away through this little grotto that's there, kind of like this intercity park. There's a home, a 2-story home, and a pulse from inside.
It's inside this building.
You all have time to make your way there.
I'm gonna check on the new dagger that I did the raffle smite on.
Okay, roll a d20.
Once we get to where Ceradyn, I can talk to him without yelling, I'll ask if he could tell what part of the building.
Zenesha, sing. Good clean dagger.
Does it seem like it's enchanted? Like it works?
No, it's been
or...
far longer than a minute at this point. But it's a clean dagger. And there still rests a dagger on your belt.
Is there something like, this is awful, like a squirrel or a cat or a dog nearby?
Make a survival check to go hunting for squirrels while all of this is happening.
I'm checking.
So here's the thing. You see a squirrel. And what you all hear from Zenesha is squirrel, and she goes charging off.
Where are you going?
I'm checking through the windows to see where this pulse is coming from.
I imagine she's doing that Nathan Fillion meme where he's like,
Ceradyn coming down. Everyone's kind of gathering around this house that you've signaled them to. The upper story. It's quite apparent through the spyglass.
And looking in through the windows, do I see anything?
You hover up the second story window. You look in and you see a room. In this room, splattered against the wall, is what is left of what must have been. And lying on the floor, a woman, choking on blood. And next to her, a little girl who has her hands forward, and it looks like her fingers are piercing the air itself, cracking arcane lines come from her, and she is turning something. 6 or 7 years old. Can't hear anything from inside right now, but tears are pouring down her face, and she's turning something.
I think with seeing the small child, he would just turn to the others and say, "It's a child in this upper story," and then he would dive through the window.
Okay.
Blade first to break in.
Okay, so with your blade, I mean, make an attack.
Okay.
An automatic hit, so just roll damage. See if your form can make it through the window.
Seeing him diving in, I'm going to bash through the door and just run upstairs. Or try to open it and run up.
Okay. I mean, it's already broken open. But you go charging in. Zenesha, at this point, the squirrel has eluded you. But you're about 80 or 90 feet off. Probably scared the shit out of that squirrel. Basil, Arni, and Sashem, you guys also making your way in?
I think I'm going to hang out outside. When they said I was a child, I'm like, oh, they probably got it. It's fine.
I'm going as fast as I can up those stairs.
You're right behind him. Thump, 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 thump.
Yeah. Okay. What was that damage roll, Ceradyn?
Oh, I thought you wanted me to roll for the hit. That's what...
Sorry.
So just damage?
Yeah, because you can't miss a window.
Fair.
No.
Really crappy.
It hasn't shown up for me, so...
It says 7.
7? I mean, it's not incredibly challenging to break through a window, especially utilizing the dagger. You do, and it just breaks out that one square. There's like 10 squares, or like 8 squares stacked, and you're through the one. And she takes no notice of you. She says, no. And it's at this point, you guys are making your way up the stairs.
As he comes through the window and like rolls on the ground to stand up, he would be I would be casting mage armor.
Okay.
On myself.
Yeah. An arcane film moves across your body and then becomes invisible.
I can't use that one on me, never mind.
You can cast mage armor on yourself. It just might not be as much benefit as you think.
Well, you can only cast it on things without armor.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, you are all coming up the stairs, and you come into this doorway at this point as well. And she has grip of what looks like a wheel in the air. Green lines and circles. She's turning it.
Did Zern stay with you, Sashem, or did he follow? Do we know, Austin? I guess Ceradyn wouldn't be.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just hanging out, so.
So yeah, you're alone, and Zenesha comes forward. And Ceradyn, you don't see Zern. You do hear a number of footsteps coming up the stairs, and at this point, Chief, you're the one turning the corner first.
As soon as I see what's happening, I'm going to cast a spell.
Okay.
And I'm casting Command. She has to make a Wisdom saving throw.
She has been here for a long, long time. She is held to her task for a great long time. The mental fortitude that takes is substantial. She definitely gets advantage against this. But her mod is only 3. 18 plus 3. 21. The command, you can almost see the arcane energy leave you. Usually command, the word, you don't really see anything, but somehow in this space things are almost like moving slower. You can see it just kind of wash over her and just do nothing. And she turns, and you all feel that desync again. Everyone incurs another point of exhaustion. You're very close to the epicenter.
Is the mom still gurgling for blood, like still kind of alive and pulsating?
Yes.
Well, just to make way for others coming up, I'd like to just run forward and to her and get ready to cast another spell. Wait till everybody else does their thing for turn order stuff.
Hello. What's your name?
The bad man, he hurt mommy. And it's at this point that you can see the artwork.
The artwork? Oh,
that is the remains of the man.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Trying to go back. I have to go back.
At that, I'm going to be casting a 2nd level Cure Wounds on the mom.
Okay.
And maybe we can help her. That's just telling her.
Yeah.
So
she is fading, and at this time, Basil and Arni, you guys are entering the doorway. It's a little crowded. It's not a large room in the first place, and there's now a lot going on in here. But you do enter. Go ahead and roll the healing for that. Oh, 18.
18.
Okay.
I'm gonna go and
the
try
wound. Go ahead, Basil.
I'm gonna go ahead and try and run over and grab the girl's hands and try and hold her steady. She doesn't.
Okay. All right. Roll a D100 for me.
Oh.
Anyway, while that's rolling, her wounds are starting to close.
Her wounds close. The blood stops flowing, and she. How old are you, Basil?
27.
Need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Ma'am,
we're able to help
this
her.
girl is in the efforts of turning back time. You feel, as you touch her hands, time begin to for you individually. Your memories are intact. Your body is reversing. But you shrug it off and are almost blasted away from it.
Everything's gonna be alright. Just stop doing this.
Ma'am, you need to help us. She thinks you're dying. You were, but we saved you.
What is... Freaking chief. Yeah, that interesting thing just happened.
Look, mommy's okay.
But her fingers come out of the cracks in reality, and she just breaks down onto her knees, legs splayed out, and just starts crying. And her mother first is... You can tell she's almost scared of her daughter for a moment, then scoops her up.
Grab the spyglass from Ceradyn just so he doesn't have to worry about carrying it anymore.
Yeah, and it's kind of a little awkward.
It's okay.
So half of 30, Basil, is 15. You said you were 27? You are now in the body of a 12-year-old.
Is that before you change?
We got age changes going all over the place. Jeez.
Your body, you shorten, you thin. All of your abilities, your form, your knowledge, your everything is consistent, but you watched the room go.
I'm going to
And a
look
number
for
of you would begin to notice this. You don't see Zern.
What? Looks back at the
Arni
girl.
would to approach the girl and say, "Sweet one, I am in no position to judge anyone for what has happened here, but this power that you have is powerful but dangerous. And we would beg you not to use this again until you have been trained on how to control this. And it has affected the lives of many others."
After Arni says that, I'm going to cast See Invisibility.
Okay. As you cast See Invisibility, you see Zern with a dagger in hand, about 2 feet away from the mother and child, and a crazed look in his eyes.
Who's the closest to them? Who's the closest to him out of all of us?
I mean, I was the one who was
Yeah,
closest to the girl.
Yeah, it'd be Ceradyn and
Because I was trying to
Basil,
comfort
who
her.
Just
I was
touched her.
basically like right up to her before the mom
Yeah.
scooped her up. So
All right. Well, I'm going to say, Ceradyn, trust me on this. Attack there, and I'll point right at where he is.
You see Zern go. He's
lunge.
gonna lunge.
I
Okay,
just
both of you lunging at the
dove
same
lunge.
time. Dexterity check. Opposed dexterity check. Minus your exhaustion.
Natural 1.
When as soon as Chief pointed out that Arni would cast Thunderwave in that direction.
Okay, which I imagine you'd be able to be cognizant enough to keep it from involving people you didn't intend. That's a con
Thunderwave
save, right?
plus an invisible person. No wonder I
Con
miss
14
horribly.
save.
Yeah, it explains it. That's a 2. So there's a crashing thunder in the room, which blows out the rest of the window. Half of the walls crack and open enough to allow light in. The ceiling pries open a little bit, like a can that had a firecracker in it. This room shatters nearly, and then there's a against the wall and the floor, and you just hear.
I'm going to walk up and smash him with my axe and see if Zenesha wants to join in on it, just to be sure.
Zenesha is just now getting up the stairs.
Yeah,
Zenesha,
after the big
here.
room, I would have run up to.
So go ahead and roll an attack with disadvantage. Anybody that's attacking. Zenesha, I imagine you'd be able to get there quick enough.
Even with him being on the ground, I'm using my axe.
Oh, so it'd be a straight attack. So disadvantage because of invisibility, advantage because of prone, so straight roll.
But here's my question, though. I can see him.
Oh, that's right. You can. So you're at advantage.
I think
Zenesha,
while they move
it
in
would actually be
after
the 18 Zenesha because of straight roll. But
after I missed and they moved in, like with the crash and whatnot, I think reorienting
11.
myself, I would go to the mother and daughter and be like, let's get somewhere safe and try to usher them
out of the room, downstairs at least.
Okay. So Zenesha, I should have had you roll straight because it was disadvantage from invisibility, advantage because of prone. So the 18 is what counts. But an arcane shield and your dagger and the other two you miss. Stands up. She did this. She's the reason. She's why. And she was right here the whole time. She did this.
Not
And
on
the invisibility fades.
The girl lost her mother, was losing her mother. You can't blame her for wanting to try to save her.
And I lost centuries.
Well, you'll have to get through us first.
It's stopped now? Is it really?
If she was the actual cause of it, which looks like it is, then yes.
Shoot me in the face. Please. Kill me. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
I was just about to turn to Ceradyn. Okay.
Why am I so small?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you're a kid. You're just a kid now.
You're a
You're a
Wait.
little guy.